93 in.
Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to How to Trade during the midday. That is your boy right there, Joey Options. I'm Sharif, and shout out to everyone who's joining us from the other stream. We're going to shout everybody out as we typically do. Joseph, shout out to Darwin.
Van.
We got ADL, the two OGs in the house. We got Black Hawk Drip. I'm just going to mute myself over here.
Same.
We got Skull, Beer Producer, Gorev, Dole Whip, Ronaldo and Evan, City Boy 305, and Day Trader Cut. Shout out to X Baines and Courtney Blake. On the dang blockchain, Mohammed. We got YV. We got T-Money, baby. We got Dylan Plays, Dinkelberg, and Stewart. Shout out to the Piper, Pillsbury, Nephew, the Capital P, and Nomo. How about Cass? How about KK14M? Shout out to you. And the world's greatest mod, baby. Bears versus Bulls. We got Vinay Moon. We have, let's see, can I read that? I'm trying to see if I can actually read someone's name in Mandarin there, but I cannot, so. Sucks to be me. Brandon, we got Mike, we got Brown, we got B. Davis, DJ 2 a.m. because he's up late, baby. HR Lopez and Nick L. How about Zuckerborg? My man Brown Lighting. We got Sadiq, we got Doty, we got Bold. I like that. We got Meep, we got Jesse, a couple more. G-Talk 5150, and last but certainly not least, Blue Dang Arrow. You get my attention when you use the word blue in your name, hence it's my favorite color. Good morning, Joe.
Ooh, yes. 151 Rom. Yeah, guys, let's see what we got going on today. Monstrous session yesterday. We all know that. Not too much follow through, which is unfortunate. But yeah, this is what we got going on. Okay, all right. We'll take a look at my screen here momentarily once we get back from Madeira.
Get it.
Just be wary. I mentioned this earlier, not something that's necessarily going to be hugely market moving, but I have it in my ear right now. Fed's Michelle Bowman, is currently being grilled with a number of other bank-related nominees for the new Trump administration. She's being interrogated right now by a Senate committee with regards to her nomination for the vice chair of supervision role within the Fed. And she made some comments on tariffs just now that I think are worth noting. She said that she acknowledged the volatility that there's been recently in the stock market. And she also said it's unclear how tariffs affect the economy. She was pressed pretty hard on talking about how the tariffs are going to impact the economy. She said at this point, it is unclear. Again, if we get any other more tariff-related headlines or other comments of note from Bowman, I will let you know right away, but we'll send you back to the Bash Brothers for now.
I said go over to Neil. Why would I don't know. Neil and Sean?
It's all good, baby.
It's
Neil's
right.
punching it.
Yeah, it's all right,
good,
man.
baby, and you're good, man. Joseph, do you want to cover something?
Yeah,
you said you want
absolutely, absolutely. Let's pull up my screen here, guys. Yeah, so this is what we got going on. I was just building a thesis. Did a little DD yesterday. Frustrated at myself. Why didn't I just stick with my hood trade plan via options, etc.? It worked out really well and exceeded it. Usually how it goes. But it took me a couple attempts to get it going here, guys. So you can see attempt 1. This is entry 1 right here. Stopped out. Entry 2, add heavy. Stopped out. Entry 3, we get a little bit going. 4 didn't work out. And then I'm like, okay, I got to be really, really patient here, guys, and wait on that one. And then this is when we get that move all the way up to the top side. So a nice breakout there on HOOD, holding up relatively strong. I'm going to be a little patient here because I think when we put in such a monster day, I don't think that's the end of the buy program. I think it's just going to take a little while for things to kind of get going again. Because when you go up 10%, 23%, Hood was up 23% yesterday. Tesla put in a massive day. NVDA was up 12% at one point. It's just like, all right, cool off. The sentiment is still slightly negative, but I believe that buyers are going to step in here eventually, Sharif.
Absolutely agree with you there, Joseph. All right, guys, here is what we're looking at. We're already in a couple of positions here, a couple of small cap gappers. Quick as you like, as the Katina man likes to say, SXTP, we're in that at 3 1/5, $3.20. I also weaseled my way into CXAI, which is having itself a decent day. We're looking to take prints at 10, at $1.10 that is, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Did we get the print here on SXTP? The answer to that is in the dang affirmative. So here's what we're looking at. These are the small cap gappers du jour, so to speak. The biggest, the baddest, the best looking of them all. The prom king, JNVR. It's very expensive, though, for a small cap gapper. It's trading around $51. It's up bigly, as the orange one likes to say, 89, 93%, just touched the high of the day, 52.97. It's this bad boy here. Look at that monster gap that did not get filled. That's very unusual, Joseph. Usually these halt gaps get filled awfully quickly, and then they continue on their way to the north side. This one has not been filled, maybe foreshadowing the strength of this one to come. I'm talking, guys, about JNVR, which is now 93%. We're going to have to focus on this one at some point. I was telling Adara, I'm displeased with the price per share here. I like them a little bit cheaper because I am a frugal guy. No, I'm kidding. I just like to manage risk in a little bit of a more efficient way. So it's nicer when these ones are a little bit on the cheaper end. Let's go on with some others that I'm looking at. As you can see on the screen, I'm involved in CXAI. This one looked to be quite strong in the morning. It had its biggest pullback of the day, preceded by a topping tail candle into $1.14, and then dropping down, holding most notably, Fabian, that $1.05 area, which is the volume weighted average price, trying to work its way back into $1.10. I've layered my orders. Let's see if we can print. LABD, y'all remember this one from yesterday? Y'all remember this one from yesterday? This is an inverse, what's it called? Biotech ETF. And as you can see, tanked quite aggressively yesterday to close out the show after being strong because the market started trending up. So if you're an inverse ETF and the market goes up, typically you will go down. Today the market's down, so the inverse ETF on the way up. I do like the price chart. I do like the price pattern, on LABD. So if it sets up in a way that I like, I'm all ears. AERB was a good one. That is until, of course, it broke the volume weighted average price to the south side at 10.5. So it's no longer of interest to me until and if it can get above that white line there on your charts. That is the volume weighted average price. Looks like I'm taking multiple prints up in here, baby, on CXAI. Dang it, Joseph. It went to 14s and I didn't get the print because it didn't cross. But we'll continue to watch that to see if we can get that 14 print on CXAI. Keeping my eye out on that one. We're getting multiple prints here as well on SXTP. Bang! We'll take that one again, my boy. We're going to set up next at 33. Looking to do some damage here on small cap gappers, my man. What do you got?
Yeah, nice look there, guys. Being a little patient. We got some entries on HOOD earlier. Now we're waiting for this market to kind of put in some bottoming signals. Someone mentioned in the chat, hey, some nice rounded bottom. It looks somewhat to be the case here. We'll pull up the cues and see what we got cooking up here, guys. Again, so a nice potential double bottom right here. That could be a good level for us to hold. What are we going to do? We're going to take a look at the options chain to see whether or not we have a base around this specific level here, guys, and be like, hey, that can give us just more conviction within the setup to say we might bounce at these levels, especially if NVDA starts to get the ball rolling. 8,000 contracts currently open at 450 there, so that's where we're sitting at. We go to a low of around 448, so holding up really good at these levels. Potential double bottom. NVDA heading back towards some resistance here, guys. That's a positive note. If NVDA gets the ball rolling, guess what, Sharif? The market's going to get rolling too, and I think that we can get to moving. A monstrous session the other day. This name 2 days ago on Monday, guys, was at a low of $87. We trade to as high as, what was it, 113. So, I mean, or as high as 115 yesterday. So good look there on NVDA. I mean, from a daily standpoint, it's not the most gorgeous thing, but a huge engulfing candle. It looks like we might put an inside day, but let's see if we can get buyers to step in and break out here, Sri.
All right, there's a new IPO. I just sent it to you, Adara. IOTR. It's not doing a whole lot of volume, but it's not breaking down either. So it deserves our respect here. We should cover this. So the opening print, let me throw on the ticker first, excuse me. So the ticker is IOTR, guys. And shout out to Mr. Poopy Pants in the chat who let me know about this one. IOTR it is. So there it is. It opened up, guys, at $3.60, I believe. The current price, $3.98. It did dip down into $3.11. So I don't have anything other than to say IO3 Limited. That is the name of the company. He's done 1.23 million shares. It is at the high of the day. Let me know when we're going to Adara. Okay, go ahead.
So I looked into this IPO. It's IOTR is the ticker. IO3 is the name of the company. This is a Singapore-based company. And this is a really small IPO. They raised $8 million for their IPO, offered 2.1 million shares. Though it's interesting, too, They were expected to offer about 2.6 million shares, so they offered less shares than expected. And B, the pricing of this IPO, I think, is incredibly key. This was initially expected to be priced between $4 and $6. It was priced at $4. It opened at about $3.12. So this IPO really very much priced below expectations here, and even less shares offered than we were expecting as well. That is IOTR, and back to you.
Thank you very much, Adara. It's really important to know what she said there. The price per share, the actual IPO price, it opened up far less than that, okay? So that could be a product of several things. Disinterest in the company, or the product of the current trading environment, which is obviously on the weak side given that the overall market is down. So be careful trading it. It's a great IPO. We've had some good IPO moves. CoreWeave, Newsmax, they were good. They were decent trades, Joseph. But
I mean, Newsmax good is an understatement. But like,
I was happy to be there for the first day. Then, for the
I would,
second
to be
day.
honest with you, man, that is some crazy stuff, that Newsmax. Like 1,400% in a span of a couple of days, opens up at
Easy
14
work.
bucks. Yeah, easy work. Trade stuff like the 200. That's absolutely madness. All right, guys, let's see what
China.
China. Let's see what everybody else got going on right here. I do feel that we're kind of in no man's land right now, Shree, just chopping around sideways. So I think it's just patience is the name of the game for today. If you can grab the bottom of the ranges and sell the top of the ranges, then I think you'll be sitting off pretty good. Right now, you can see that we're mid-range. TQ's down about 9% here, so don't forget there's this 3x leverage. So again, just be patient, guys. We are heading a little bit lower, so I think those setups are going to step in. If we make another leg down, I'm most definitely going to be looking for some key bottoming signals. One thing to note here as well, missed this train here, Gorev, my guy. Check this one out. NVDA, it wasn't like outstanding or anything along those lines, but it's like, oh, okay, after everything printed, it's like, yeah, we could have probably made a trade off of this. So that you get that candle right there, and then a bunch of other bottoming signals, and then you get that move from about, if you play the crack of it, 107 to a high of 110. That's a pretty good move. So let's see if this name can continue to break out. Robinhood's starting to come back in on this inverted hammer candle right at the peak. I was thinking about flipping short, but I'm like, I don't want to start bouncing around too much, especially when you have a profitable trade like this on Hood. But this is a key signal right here, guys, and I'm going to pull it up on another chart. That is a really nice short signal. You just have your risk profile totally defined, and then you break, you use just a little bit above the high, and then you can take the break of the candle to the downside, and you'd still be in the money on that trade. So yeah, we're going to be patient here, Sharif. Wait for those precision entries, and hopefully the market can get a little bit of a bounce here.
Yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be nice if we could see a couple of green days in a row. Joseph, I'll tell you, I'll be honest with you, I will not complain whatsoever about that. All right, guys, we've loaded up IOTR now on a trading screen because it's doing the dance with absolutely no underwear or pants with that $4 area. Okay, so this has been a nice move up. It did drop into 311. As Adara mentioned, it opened up, I believe, at around $3.12, give or take. So it's far above the open price right now. It is at the high of the day as we speak, $4. And there is size posted on almost every gateway. Decent size, not overwhelming for a small cap gap or anything like that. But let's see. Let's see if the bamboozlement comes in fast, comes in furious at that $4 level. We know how the whole dollars act. We know how the half dollars act with these small cap gapper type plays. I'll submit to you this one. I'll trade it very similar to that. It's not moving crazy or anything like that. We've got about 1.5 million shares, a decent amount of shares with which to work, but we're not getting anything overwhelming. And you're just able to see that from a perfunctory view of the level 2 and of the time and sales. It's just not moving that aggressively. We'll see if that changes. It's on my watch list now, though. So I'm keeping my eye here on CXAI. I bet I wet the beak a little bit more at 11s, and I'm also keeping my eye firmly fixed here on SXTP. I do like this rounding effect that it's doing off the volume weighted average price. What I dislike about it is it doesn't have that oomph through that 3 1/3. And 3 1/3 looks to have been a bit of a decent resistance level. We've rejected it off it multiple times. There's been very few closing prints actually north of that 330. Very few. There's been wicks. There's been plenty of wicks, but very few actual closing prints above there. That's the bad side of the analysis. The good side is we've got umpteen amount of higher lows. So if we do get resolution to the high side, it'll be that flat top break pattern we're always yapping about. IOTR just tanked. Okay, so here we go. Now we're doing the dance here. We're at the volume weighted average price. Not that really matters. We don't have too many data points with which to work. Here's the deal, man. I'm getting in. All right, I'm gonna get in. I'm gonna try to get in at 69s because that's what I do. Okay, we're gonna wait in and around that area, and then if it breaks 60, I'm gone. All right, it's already going without me. It's already in the 90s. So I tried. The spread is wide, Joseph. It was about 13 pennies, give or take. So I couldn't get to the low end of that entry. But I'm gonna keep my eye out on this one. If it sets up, we'll take it again.
Thank you. All right, guys. Yeah, so a couple of my friends in the chat here are looking at, they want to say coin. They got some calls, so I'm going to pull up what strikes you actually have on here. I bought some swing calls. What do you think about a dip around 165 here on coin? I think that can definitely come into play. Yeah, if I dip, you dip.
Remember that, bro?
What song is that?
I forget.
That's crazy. That's
if
crazy.
I dip, you dip, we dip.
Yeah, that's crazy. Crazy. Crazy,
you know what I mean.
Scary, spooky.
I know you know.
Hilarious. All right, yeah, guys, let's see what we go on. Man, what a hefty haircut. So my question to you, my guy, Nick W., and I'm glad to see you back in the chat. I haven't seen you for a while, my friend. Like, what are you looking to do here? I mean, I don't know if you were present yesterday. Again, when you have this heightened volatility, I don't know when you open this position or anything along those lines, but if you have a dip around, if you're looking for a dip around 165, that's okay, but we got a massive engulfing candle. Yesterday's volatility was an absolutely insane. I got gammaed yesterday, which is absolutely crazy as well, too. But again, if you're looking for Bitcoin exposure, I'll obviously just say go with IBIT or buy the actual underlying itself. But as for calls, don't forget there, my guy Nick W., is that you're going to be paying a hefty amount of premium because implied volatility is obviously elevated in this environment. So if you're looking for that move higher, maybe you'll get that. But there's so much uncertainty right now, I can't give you a definitive answer. We are down 52%, in my opinion. That is definitely oversold. But in this environment, it's not a good look because we're not getting those continuous bounces. Now, one more on SLV here. Okay, I thought you were talking about silver there. Yeah, I think you were talking about silver. I don't know why this pulled up. I'll get rid of this one here and pull it up. But again, gold and silver ripping really well today. So those hedges coming into play among the uncertainty. Let's take a look at a daily and see what we're sitting at. Again, just slowly climbing higher, but you can see this base and a consistent trend line. So if you like silver for the long run, I can agree with you on that front there, Sri.
Absolutely, Joseph. All right, we took the print on the break of the 3 1/3 on SXTP. It did work up its way to 40. I've only got one left on this one, so we're gonna wait for a break of that 50 penny area. That's my move here. I don't want to take out too much too quickly on SXTP. I think that we could definitely test 50 pennies. Now, the high of the day is 53. So you bet your bottom dollar. If you've been watching me trade for a while, I'm not going to sit at the actual $half, whole dollar level. I'll try to front run it in case it's a crowded trade. So here we go. We're going to sit at 48. So let's see what comes of this one. JNVR is halted to the upside yet again. I mean, this one is a little worrisome to me because I could get cut up very badly, very aggressively, very quickly on this one if it goes south. But there's a lot that I like about it. It's just hard for me to manage a risk on this one, okay? So that's why I'm not involved with it. What I really like about this one the most is the fact that that halt level has not been filled. That is something we don't often see with these small cap gappers. It'll fill it even if it's on a wick basis. It'll fill it quickly on a wick, and then there'll be buy orders at the halt level. We talked about that yesterday, and then it'll rocket back up. This didn't do that. This didn't even come close to the fill. So JNVR is all sorts of strong. So we'll talk more about that when we're back from the human algo at the big desk.
Yeah, thank you for that transition there, Sharif. This is the NASDAQ. We're basically at day's lows right now. Now we have Prime Minister Carney of Canada talking about tariffs. He said that we, meaning Canada, will fight U.S. tariffs until they are lifted. So yeah, just I think an interesting note here. Carney certainly announcing his willingness and eagerness to fight these tariffs coming from the U.S. Back to you.
No, I don't think they care.
Tax. As long as you pay taxes, brother.
Yeah, that's all they care about.
Yeah, so.
Your boy Patrick Jam there just dropped some cash in the
we got
chat.
a couple. There's 2 super chats there, my friend. JTK as well.
All right, you cover the first one, I cover the second one.
I got you. Let's do this thing. This $5 American is like 24 Canadian, right? Get lunch on me, boys. SPY puts for the win. I call SPY 523
all over us.
at 531. We just need $2 more. Holler. Yeah, hey man, don't make fun of the snow peso, all right, man? We like the snow peso. No, we're obviously I call it the snow peso. We're not gonna go down that far.
Fabian, you're gonna get us in trouble, bro. We're gonna get dinged on YouTube because of you, Fabian. That's okay.
We're not going that far. But JTK, thank you very much, my friend. You got that second one there.
All right, yes sir. Thank you very much, Patrick. Jamming that $4.99 in the super chat. Very thankful for that. SXTP just tanked. By the way, it stopped out of that. Hey, watch out below. If we break 523 on SPY, we enter the thin processes. We enter thin process. I don't know what that means. It's about to get hairy. Back to 500 or a big pop question mark. So I was talking to Joseph about this off camera. Let's talk a little bit about what we're looking like here on the overall market because, we were looking at Apple, but I think we're not really going to see much of a different look on that one, Joseph. So here is the triple Qs, and this is yesterday's price action. This monster green candle pointing up, and this is today's price action. So it's not as bad, I think. We're not giving up nearly as much. Now, the trading day is still very young. We have many more hours to trade, so we could definitely get a little bit lower. But the way that I see it right now, I'm not willing to make any pronouncements about, this was a dead cat bounce to the downside. I need to see a bit more. I just don't have enough data. Let's see how today ends up closing out. Maybe even on Friday. I'd like to see what the Friday trade ends up being as people go into the weekend to digest all that information. I don't have an answer for you. I don't know if Joseph does, but today I feel that the relative downside is far overshadowed by yesterday's upside move. Now, obviously, that's taken within the larger context of the multi-week downtrend that we've had. But I still don't know whether we trend sideways, retrace a little bit to the high side, or move back down. I need more information. I need to see a little bit more than I've seen so far. Joseph, I don't know if you have any pronouncements about the overall market trend.
I mean, it is what it is, right, Sharif? Yeah. I'll just leave it at that. Again, the primary trend, as you mentioned, is still fully intact, even though we have that 90-day pause. I think the big thing looming here, guys, because if there's a 90-day pause, in my opinion, that means there's going to be negotiations before he slaps everything, and 10% around is essentially the narrative. But China's the big deal now, Sharif. 145% tariffs, and you can see, we had a nice rally there, right? So from the peak to the current lows, we were down about 25%. Now at the close of yesterday, only about 13%. So that's a nice recovery. But with the uncertainty in the market, okay, Boris, that's it.
All right, hold on. Yeah. Last warning.
No, I already gave him one.
You already gave him one.
Yeah, I already gave him a warning.
Come on now, he already got timed out.
Yeah,
Bears versus Bulls.
But I don't know how much timeout Bear versus Bulls is a very lenient individual.
He is an excellent man.
Me, not so much.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, and just believe. Exactly. Here we go. So that's how I feel. Again, we're gonna probably put in an inside day. It seems like, so you can see we open up here. I don't see us getting out of this range really today, unless buyers really step in or Donald hops on the mic and says, "We found we're coming to deals with China and everything."
We're gonna do a deal.
Yeah, we're gonna do a deal. We're going to win, obviously.
It's going to be a big one.
It's going to be the best deal ever made. You know what I mean? So it's just
we like him, by the way. We're not trolling him.
Exactly.
But he is a funny
actually, I don't
guy.
know about that as much anymore, Sharif.
Well, I'm still okay with
You're still cool with him. But anyways, so let's see what happens. I think it's going to be an indice.
You can turn off people super quick. You're like my old man, bro.
Hey, man.
You rub my old man the wrong way, that is it.
Hey, man, you scratch my back, I scratch yours until you start doing other things.
I just remember because of the Elon thing. One day, Elon's
no
good.
problem. Business is business until things start going south. Then it's all right. This can't be a one-way street here, Sharif. But yeah, let's see if we can get outside of this. I think that eventually we may break out, but again, inside day, because yesterday was a record day. So
all right, Greg Trail dropping cash in the chat, Joseph. $20. Very appreciative of that. Thank you very much, Greg Trail. Reads as follows. Appreciate the show and everything your team does. Have been watching for years. You and I both, my man. I used to be a viewer before I was on. Tell Sean I said, go, pack, go. I will tell him he's gymming right now. So he'll be back hopefully within the next half an hour or so. I will tell him that. Thank you very much for the super chat and the kind words there. I do appreciate you. Ozan, you're killing me. I'm trying to concentrate on the show, Ozan. President Xi is my biggest friend, China. All right, calm down, Ozan. Come on now. Yes. President Xi, obviously, you know, here's the thing. Do you think that China is actually looking to institute these reciprocal tariffs on a permanent basis, or are they doing it only as a negotiating tactic, or do you feel like they don't know how to respond yet? Because that's what Donald thinks.
I think a little bit. Okay, so I don't think it's going to be on a permanent basis because I think the two economies rely too much on each other. But again, it's just at the end of the day, it's just a pissing contest, right? To see who can do it the most, right? Let's see who retaliates, who can hold it the longest, who can hold a straight face the longest, and I think that's what it's a narrative. So it's a contest using our money and our likelihoods, the average individual. That's my opinion. So
please tell your friend to drop the tariff, said Belinda. You're Belinda. Zip Canadian Trump supporters is literally insane. Oh, we're crazy. That's why we're on the show. So you're just kind of
exactly.
I'm playing. Guys, I'm still keeping my eye on the new IPO that we have today. IOTR is the ticker, guys. A $4 high a day, and we're still trending and the price is still $3.90, so we're awfully close to the highs as relative to the distance to the lows. So I'm quite interested in this trade, but as you can see, look at the tape has basically come to a standstill now. It's not trading. There's barely any volume coming in here. I mean, we've only done 2 million shares. Definitely not what we had on Newsmax. Definitely not what we had on CoreWeave, but it's obviously a much smaller IPO. Having said that, you know, there is a bit of lack of participation. I got to tell you, the spread is kind of tight on this one, man. We got a 1 penny spread, 90 on the bid, a 91 on the ask. So even despite the lack of liquidity, or what seems to be the lack of liquidity, we're holding a tight spread here, so not too bad. Going to keep my eye out on this one. Again, you know, very hard to have key levels because it just opened up for the first time, but we'll try to gauge exactly what the situation is, and I'm going to personally try to weasel into it. CXAI is the only trade that I've got on right now, guys, but it's got multiple topping tail candles. Pardon me? Dougie. Oh, Big Dougie's on CNN. Okay, get it, Dougie. See what he's up to. Yeah, the premier, which is like the governor of this province, which is like a state, is on CNBC right now talking about the pause in tariffs. They don't apply to Canada. He's been mentally anguished for a long time. I'm talking about our premier because we rely so heavily on the auto industry, Fabian, for jobs in especially the southern part of the province. And these tariffs are really going to hurt a lot of the auto workers, everybody adjacent to the auto sector. It's like the materials, raw materials, production. And so he's been really anguished lately because he knows what kind of damage that's going to have. So he's been doing everything he can. He's been talking bad about Trump, then he's talked well about him. He met with Lutnick, and then he met with some others as well.
Sorkin.
You know, like,
he was on with Sorkin.
He was on with Sorkin.
And
he was on with Sorkin, yeah. So yeah, he's been doing whatever he can.
Yeah, he's been doing whatever he can. Like, shout out to him though. I mean, it's a heavy burden for this guy to put on. What Sharif was referring to, Southern Ontario does rely heavily on the auto industry, and I think we make a lot of seats here in Southern Ontario. I remember I worked for a company. Yeah, that's what we specialize in, is like the seats for. I remember I used to make the seats for Impala. I used to work at this.
What?
Yeah, when I was a teenager. Yeah, when I was a teenager. So I used to work at a factory called Forcia in
I've heard of it.
in Bradford, Ontario, which now turned to a weed place, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, but yeah, we made seats for the Impala and some other Chevy vehicles as well.
That's sick.
So, yeah.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
All right.
$5 super chat.
Oh, here we go. Janet Yellen just said Trump's economic policies are the worst self-inflicted wound on a well-functioning economy in history. Shout out to the former Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen. Thank you very much for that, Brendo. We'll keep an eye on that. But look at this. This is the new IPO. taking a bit of a downturn now. We were talking about how this one was trading closer to the highs being $4. It has now dropped a little bit into that 370 area. This is the volume weighted average price. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going long here. Let's see if it'll let me in this time. I tried to get in last time. It didn't have me. Now we're in. We're in at 375. So the deal is it loses 360 and I'm out. As simple as that. So we're going to go ahead and throw the orders in there. I want to participate in this one. So we'll see if we can get something. It's already losing the bid. So I'm already going to get stopped out super quick on this unless it bounces up. 60 pennies is my line in the sand. The reason is that's where the closing print was initially. Let's see, it's bouncing back up. So moving right back up is IOTR. Keeping my eye out on this one. I'd like to take profits if I'm able to at 80s and then 85s. I'll layer this every 5 pennies. Adara, what's going on up there?
What's going on here is we have some talk from Trump, or more specifically, Truth Socialing from Trump here. He posted on Truth Social here about the fact that the House has passed a bill, the tax cut bill. I'm bringing this up because I also want to let you guys know about our Trump tracker. We post this every single day on X at TTV Research. This one has not gone live yet because usually a lot of these Trump appearances are going to happen later in the day. But 11 a.m., President Trump, who just posted Truth Social, is supposed to be currently in this cabinet meeting. All of his events today are closed press, but I think it's worth noting regardless that they're happening. 2:30 p.m., Trump is participating in a swearing-in ceremony for the Solicitor General. Then at 4, we're going to get Trump doing a bill signing. So be aware of that. He did mention the signing of a bill in that Truth Social post. Also, more comments from Janet Yellen, former Secretary of the Treasury. Yellen saying that the likelihood of a U.S. recession has risen. So recession talk from Janet Yellen and Trump here on Truth Social. Back to you.
Yeah, let's see what we got going on, guys. Waiting for some bottoming signals here in the market. There's been some good conversation going on in the chat, so keep it up there, guys. Good look. I like this potential 5-minute print here on the Qs, so we might be able to find a trade off of this. I mean, we've essentially been selling for the whole session. Are we going to get that bounce? I think so. If we can kind of zoom out here, we've now retraced from the peak to where we're currently sitting at about 5% of the move that we put in yesterday. So you guys were all aware what happened yesterday. We get that news 90-day pause, and then boom, and what happened to your boy there? I got stuck in a gamma on this, so I got gamma squeezed yesterday, and Sharif was like, Joe, and I showed Sharif my orders this morning. He's like, Joe, you made a mistake on your stop loss order, and I went and I checked right after you said that. Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I did, you're right, and that's hence why I'll show you guys even later. I had a stop loss order at $1, and I got filled at $3.11 on 4 contracts.
Oh my God. What? I'm talking about that.
Oh, yeah, on 4 contracts. Yeah, it's so infuriating. Bro, yeah. No, it is what it is. Yeah. So I had to stop at $1, and then I got filled $2.11 in options terms. So that's $400. That's $200 per contract above my stop. So yeah, it is what it is, right? Like, you can just laugh it off and be prepared. Oh, I know where I went wrong. There's things that we can work on that. And now it's like, what are the Qs going to do? What's that next trade? And how can we put some more money to work? And that's my game plan right now. Going to be patient. I'm precise with those entries. Didn't work out, but we will get back on the other side of things, Sharif.
All right, so can I just explain what I was saying to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
So guys, what I was saying to him, let's just load up, I don't know, let's go NVIDIA. And what I was saying to Joseph is, this is IBKR specific. So if you guys are with IBKR, listen up, okay? If you were going to use stop orders, they're going to show up in a bit of a different way. So let's go ahead and put a buy order. This is my sim account, so let's just go long on something here. Let's trigger the long on this. We'll trigger it. There it is. Override. There we go. So we're long 100 shares right now of NVIDIA. So say I want to set my stop loss. So what I do is I'll go into sell, right? And then I'll put my stop loss, say, at 102. And then I'll right-click on it, modify, order ticket. And so look at this. Now it's telling me this, it's a limit order, but I can put it as a market order if I want. The way to do that is to select stop, STP. If I want to stop limit, it has to show me stop limit. The way you know you're in a limit order is you have 2 entry order boxes. You have the trigger price and the limit price. The trigger price tells the computer sell now. The limit price will say to the computer sell up to here. So the bigger the window, the more room you have, or the more room the computer has in order to get you the hell out of there. So what I mean is, so say I say to the computer, stop The trigger price should be $102, but sell all the way down to 101.25. So I've given myself a 75 penny spread. So why would I use a wide limit stop as opposed to a market stop? For exactly that reason. So I can say to the computer, my max loss will be $1 of slippage, whereas in the market order, you got almost $3 of slippage. That's what I was trying to say to Joseph about that, and that was my thinking about that. So I don't know if that's relevant for everybody's platform, but it's certainly relevant for mine. So I really wanted to make that point very clear.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Of course,
Because now I know from that experience, I use the stops. They've worked before perfectly. But then when you get caught in a volatility onslaught, that's when you get really screwed. And that's exactly what happened to me. And I took screenshots, and I'll show you guys everything, the orders and everything along those lines, just so you know we're not messing around. Like, we're dealing with real contracts here. We're dealing with real size as well too.
Absolutely.
So those things
money,
have
man.
real money, right?
Yeah.
So those things happen, man. It's part of how it is. You just learn from the mistake, and you don't sleep on it. People are like, Joe, I hope you had a couple beers. You know what? I had one cold one, and then I just got right back to work after. I'm like, what am I gonna cry about here? Hit some push-ups, blah blah.
There it is,
and
baby.
That's it, man.
I lied. Weaseled that in there, huh?
Of course.
Yeah,
man.
my man's getting ready. All right, let's take a couple of super chats
we do.
over here.
We missed two of them there, Sharif.
There we go. We got Czar.
There's one before Czar.
We even got, I'll go the one before Czar. Allow me a minute over here. Okay, so I got to go super chats, fan funding, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so before Czar, we had the real DC, $5 super chat. Thank you very, very much. Trading can be lonely. Love this community. Thank you guys for making it fun and smart. Also, go Bills. You're getting love in the chat.
Wow.
You know, by the way, you got the real deal here shouting you out. Shout out to, thank you very much for the super chat. We got Czar, £2 super chat. Joseph, we got from him saying, are you guys eyeing the Discord IPO if it happens?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. I'm sure Fabian will be all over that as well. He was all about the Reddit IPO, so we'll definitely be covering that. Goes without saying, we're going to be all over it, and we have the human algo at the big desk who will be giving you all the goods as we do the trades. Patrick Jam, $1.99 super chat. We're going to the bottom of this range. Look out, SPY 500. Oh, baby. He's another big spile Burdette.
Oh.
He wants the world to burn, baby. No,
Yeah,
I'm kidding. Shout out to Patrick Jam. Thank you very much for the super chat there. All right, Joseph, here we're doing well. We're doing it live on IOTR. We're long here, guys. I'm waiting for the fill here at 85s. That's what I'm waiting for right now. We're long 63s. Got that bottom wick, scalped up a couple of times, took the best print there at 81s. Now I'm waiting at 85s. And then ideally, we get a $4 break, and that would be the high of the day break. So I'm involved in the IPO right now. IOTR is the name. It is getting a little spready. We were singing this one's praise earlier, saying that despite the lack of liquidity, it was holding a bit of a tighter spread. That has since changed. It is now a 10-penny spread, but it doesn't matter, Joseph Wilson, because we're taking it out to the high side. All right, let's keep an eye out on IOTR. Oh, one more thing here before you go. SPF, Sharif, we're going to get GTA 6 before the push-up challenge. Bro, let us do a camp. All right?
A camp.
Joseph,
a camp.
he wanted to do a camp. He's like, no, we need to be able to train for this whole thing. And I echoed him on that sentiment. It's just not his idea alone. You know, I'm doing a bunch of stuff. He was trying to hide what he's doing. I know he's trying to be secretive.
I wouldn't hide nothing, man.
Yeah,
Hey.
you didn't even want to tell me the amount of push-ups. You didn't even want to tell me the exercises. You're trying to hide everything, bro.
You asked me and I told you, man. I just wasn't going to disclose it without being asked, right? You know what I mean? You can't, got to keep the cards a little close to the chest, but I won't hide nothing like that. So we'll get that going. Bro. Yeah, I know you're obviously playing. But yeah, I mean, we'll get it done. Don't worry. We'll get it done, man, especially after yesterday. Much appreciated from you guys and all that love. So Joseph, Gorev says, Joseph, isolated candles. So how do we confirm the isolated candle? Do we look at the candle with low volume, right? So there's two, isolated volume signature and isolated candle print are slightly two different things, right? I guess they're kind of identical. So what we want to be able to identify here, you can see on the 5-minute, we're not quite isolated just yet. Why? Because we would want this candle to open up, this 5-minute candle, sorry, I'll pull it up here a little bit more so you guys can see better. We would want this 5-minute candle to open up where this one closed, all right? So that would make this more isolated, and the volume signature is slightly because it is larger than what we've seen for the past hour or so. So an isolated pivot is kind of like an island gap that Sharif always mentions, right? And we went through the lesson, but that necessarily isn't an isolated one, but it can be a pivot. Before this 5-minute candle was, I would say, yeah, we're at the start of the isolated pivot, but now it's kind of just engulfed this, and this candle isn't as isolated. So let's see if we can get a bounce here. Wayner's clapping in the back. He's cleaning up over there.
Oh, you know what that is, obviously.
Yeah, exactly. So he's cleaning up. So yeah, that's the game plan here. Not necessarily isolated, but we do have a nice 5-minute candle on that print. Let's see what everybody, at this point, I'm just here for the emotional damage and the free therapy from Sharif and Joseph. Marco, yeah, hey man, join the club, join the therapy club with us. We're here. We like that pun. We like that, what you just said. And one more thing here, Joy Options, sneaky cat. No, I'm not sneaky, man. When is Trump? I don't know, Dylan Patel. But Jaspreet, are you ready for circuit breaker today or tomorrow? Mark my words, if we didn't dump today, we will surely dump tomorrow. Is it going to be a sell-off Friday? I don't know. We'll see. Free fall Fridays? Let's see.
Free fall Friday.
I might have another small cap order for you, Sharif. It's a pretty new one. Not a ton of volume, about I think just over 1 million shares traded on the day. But CLIK, this is Click Holdings, relatively new stock. They did their IPO on October 9th, 2024, so they've been around for roughly 6 months to the date. CLIK has about a 2.83 million share float, so low float runner, still getting some volume. CLIK, back to you.
So yeah, guys, we're still holding on to this. Excuse me, it's looking like the market wants to continue to bleed, and those signals aren't coming into play. I mean, Tesla has a good bottoming signal. So does Amazon. But it looks like okay, here we go. We're holding the lows. That's a very positive sign there, Sharif. We like this. We're probably going to add to the position. We're in at a really good risk to reward ratio right here, and then we can possibly get that move back to view up. That would be sweet. Our guy, Swoldemort himself. Sad news, gents. I love my gold position, but I was at the gym and heard the 16-year-old broccoli head telling me his bros to buy gold. The top is in. Get out my squat rack and get out of my gold trade. All right.
Thank you for the broccoli head thing, bro, because they're all like that.
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
You don't know
they got the fluffy hair there?
Dude,
they're
come on.
They're just hockey bros, man.
But like it's even if you're not a hockey bro, you're doing that broccoli haircut. They're all the kids at the gym.
All right.
So they all come in at 3:30 to 5. That's their time slot. They're coming from high school.
Oh my, I'm sick of it because there's like 5 of them in a group. They take forever on every machine. And it's like, you guys, okay, I get it. We were all that age at one point and doing that. But like, come on, get to working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to tell some kids the other day, I'm like, hey, just, can you guys like start working out? Right? And like,
they love to talk. Fabian, can I show the screen? So this is what we're talking about. In case you don't know what the broccoli haircut is, all the kids, it doesn't matter. They all have variations of it. That's the thing. The perm came back,
That's
right?
Cristiano Ronaldo's son right there. It looks like
that does look like little Ronaldo, bro.
Yeah.
No, but the deal is, like, I think they all do the same kind of haircut. Some guys will keep it straight. Some guys will keep it curly, but it's all the same kind of top head fade.
They look fresh, man.
It looks amazing,
good,
but everybody
doing
fresh. It is, question.
Yeah, hockey bros, they rock large flow. Okay, wow, this market really taking another leg down.
Are we dropping?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're moving down. Apple's down now 5.25%.
Let's see if this is just a fake out here, Sharif. We're gonna hold on. We gave this a little bit of room. We're not gonna get out right at the lows because it might just take another leg down. I do like the potential stopping volume that we have. So just be prepared because I've noticed that on these signatures, you got to give it some more room here now, just because of the volatility, and they tend to just do that additional fake out.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
All right, Joseph, we're still holding IOTR. It's coming down now into 70. I've got one out left, and that out I put out there, guys, at near that $4 area. And the reason I did that was obviously $4 was the high of the day, and so I wanted to front run that $4 level. Doesn't mean that the trade is done for me if we take out 4. In fact, I think it's just getting started if we take out 4. If it shows enough buyer exuberance to get the price above that technical resistance level, I'm talking about $4, then that gives me the confidence to get back in the trade because, well, volume will be picking up, eyes are on it, this, that, and the other. So we've got one more out left on IOTR. I'm waiting for a possible or move into $4, but anything below 60 pennies, so we're literally risking 4 pennies for the remaining amount here, we're out. I'm not gonna deal with this trade. It's an IPO. It's got very little technical levels off which I can base trades. It's already sparsely traded to begin with. There's only about 2 1/3 million shares done on the day on an IPO, and this thing's been trading for an hour. So 2 1/3, not that much. Let's call a spade a spade. So anything below 60 pennies, we're gone Zeno. The other trade that I've been involved in, and I haven't taken any prints out on this one as of late. Where's it at, bro? There it is. CXAI has now put in umpteen amount of lower highs, essentially since 1055. That high day that we printed at 1055, we've been making incrementally lower highs. That's the bad side. The good side is we've been holding the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 quite well. So I don't want to take it out right yet. So what I've done is I've put my stop right below that 106 area. I should probably actually move it down. In fact, I should probably remove the stop altogether and put a dip trade for that 105, 106 area, the volume weighted average price. I don't mind defending CXAI in the VWAP. I'm going to think about this one for a bit, okay? So I do like what it's doing with respect to defending the 10 exponential moving average. What I don't like is a lower high situation, but that is my look on it at the moment. So we'll keep tabs out on that. CXAI is the one I was just finished talking about. LABD, this has been beautiful here, man, and I haven't taken any trades on LABD. So I think I want to weasel into this.
LAPD, stop, freeze.
Yeah, LAPD. I didn't even. Yeah, you know me. So I'm gonna wait. Oh, it's already getting away from me here. Oh crap. Okay. Yeah, we'll keep an eye out on this one. How are we doing with IOTR? It looks like I'm close to getting stopped out here as we move back down into the mid-60s again. So I'll keep an eye out on that. Jeffrey Dang Mendel.
Hey, hold on.
Bring the mic, brother. Bring the mic.
Are we going? I got one on.
You got one on?
Are we going to the moon?
Are we going to the moon?
What'd you feel about yesterday, man? Yesterday was ridiculous.
That was insane.
That was insane,
That
right?
was insane.
Did you guys do a volume record?
So someone was telling me that they haven't seen an actual move like that since like the 1980s.
That's crazy.
And they used to call
Black
it like
Friday
these crazy,
or Black
no,
Monday.
not even Black Friday. They were
No.
just like, it was just random events that would happen back then, back when everything wasn't electronically
Right,
connected
makes
and all
sense.
this other stuff. So absolutely insane.
Crazy,
I don't know,
eh?
what was it, like 1,800 points, like just like that?
Dude,
Like,
we
it
were
just
at
jumped up.
2,000 points from top to bottom on the
It was
NQ. It was
insane.
madness, right? It was like the
was
Dow's
like 18
biggest point winner ever.
That's crazy.
How are the OTC markets? Any?
So like yesterday, it was absolutely insane, right? It's all like international companies, so it's a lot of stuff gets affected by the tariffs and everything like that. So all of the ADRs and everything like that were absolutely nuts.
Amazing.
The Canadian stocks that trade on us as well too. Obviously, a lot of impact there too.
Yeah. The volume was
Same-
insane.
Same type of deal.
Yeah.
Did you see anything specific, like any weakness in China, any strength in Europe, anything like you discerning like that? You know what I mean?
You
Like,
know, so like, you know, if you look at the movement in Tencent, right, the initial reaction was absolutely crazy, right? It jumped right up. But then it's like, if you actually sit there and you look at the news and, dude, China, the tariffs on China are, you know, they were increased.
Yeah, they're increasing.
And so, like, yeah. What is
They're
it?
145%.
Oh God! Wow, geez, that happened when I was on the airplane this morning. So it's like, so for that stock right there, it jumps up, it's down 3%, and then it goes up 3%, and then it just starts fading in. It comes back down to like a 0.5% up.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just talking percentage
yeah.
percentages
Fair
right
enough.
now because
Yeah,
that's how we're moving, right?
Have to talk.
And so I'm like sitting it there, right? And it's like I'm like, but he's saying that the tariff on China just got increased, and this is
Why is it going
Tencent,
up? Yeah.
right? To TCEHY,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Bring it up over here while you're talking about it.
What is it down right now? Today?
Find out right now. We're gonna load it up.
Is
I've
it-
got
okay.
it.
Bob
I
will
always
do it as
keep
well,
these
too.
EHY.
TCHEY.
No, TCEHY.
Gotcha. There it is. Oh, well, I think we're up on the day, actually.
Really?
No, we're down 0.25%, so essentially flat.
Okay, yeah.
Not a bad look at all, but look at that bottoming tail candle.
Yeah.
It finishes at the highs yesterday. Not
Yeah.
bad.
So but then scroll out a little bit more on this thing. Go to like can we go? Yeah.
Yeah, you want me to go to the
Weekly?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. This is a good company, man. This is
it's
the
one of the
only
it's one,
chats, yeah.
it's one of the biggest companies in the world,
Yeah,
right?
this is a good company.
And so just look at this right now, right? I mean, you guys, you get but I'm just talking about just from like right now.
Look at that, from the 2002 lows, we're up 186%. That's not a joke.
22. Oh, 22. Yeah.
Yeah.
22 lows. Yeah.
The 22 lows, we're up 186%. That's a gnarly looking upward channel there on TCHY. 10 cent is not 10 cent music, guys. So there's 10 cent TME that trades on, I believe, the NYSE. This is what we're talking about. This is on the OTC exchange, 10 cent, not 10 cent music. So I just want to make that point real quick.
So this is the parent company. Like, I don't know how many different businesses that 10 cent is in.
It's ridiculous.
It's quite a few.
It's ridiculous.
So it's also one of the most actively traded companies in our marketplace too.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Like, let's check out. I think you always talk about BYD.
I love it, man.
BYDDY.
There it is, right there.
There it is, right on your.
Oh yeah.
What's that doing today?
Look at this, man.
Wow,
This is the
actually pretty
weekly.
impressive.
We just made all-time highs like a couple of weeks ago on this thing. This is a rocket ship, BYD, and we've been talking a lot more about BYD. How can you not, man? They're overtaking Tesla on EV production. They're one of the best.
I mentioned
Like this-
Ford, Nissan, and Honda now too, which is
Like this one's going to be an
absolutely
interesting one to watch too, because with the tariffs and everything like that, right? Does that mean it's like, listen, Tesla? Like I was in Hong Kong,
Right.
Well, a few weeks ago, and I got picked up in my Uber in a Tesla, right?
No kidding.
And so it's just like, okay, now with tariffs and reciprocal tariffs and everything like that, what's Tesla going to do versus BYD
Absolutely.
elsewhere in the world? So and all these things are on OTC Markets Group, and really though, it's like you look at it right when you pull it up in your trading account, whether wherever you're on, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, in the U.S., if you're on if you're on Robinhood or Schwab or something like that, or up in Canada if you're on Wealthsimple or something like, right? I don't know, or right? Is it well?
Yeah, good for you, Jeff.
Or if like you're in an active day trading account with with your
Real
parent
trading,
company,
baby.
right?
Yeah, real trading.
So,
Let me ask you,
it's all around.
did you go to just Hong Kong, or did you make your way over to Shenzhen as well? Like
I
the
was
whole
just
area?
I was just in
Hong Kong. Nice.
So I was also over in Seoul too, because
Nice, okay.
right now with us doing Moon and everything like that too, I think it's very important to get in front of the real end users of it, right?
For sure.
It's it's day trading
Absolutely.
over there at that
they
point,
love it
right?
over there. They
And
love
so,
it.
And so anyway, so those of you that aren't familiar with Moon, so Moon ATS is our overnight platform. It's 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So
and
just
so
like the kind of
The blue ocean of
Yeah,
the
so
OTC markets.
So just like Blue Ocean, but we're doing listed securities as well too. So you can Tesla, SPY, right? Nvidia.
So you're giving
Blue Ocean a run for their money.
So those
Nice,
And
nice.
so also too, it's like we're coming in there. We're a fresh face. We're a second venue as well too. And our thing with that is we're also doing OTC overnight, and so it's like one-stop shop for basically North America
Thanks for telling us.
as too. And so-
Do we have are you on all these brokerages? Can we access you guys on the broker, or are you?
So you guys are going to have access very soon, too. So that's one of the reasons why I'm up here to talk to some of the guys about it.
Appreciate it, Jeff.
So it's going to be another venue, another source of liquidity to trade these names.
Amazing.
And yeah,
All right, brother. Thanks for being on.
thanks guys. Thanks for having me.
We keep these. We keep these around here.
I gotta get some Moon stuff up here soon, dude. Good seeing you guys. Thank you.
Did it, Jeff. All right, guys. Jeffrey Mendel. If you've been watching the show a while, you know exactly who he is. Shout out to Jeffrey Mendel, head of OTC exchanges out there. So thanks for that. Always giving us the goods there. I had no idea there was going to be an overnight market to take on.
SPY,
Yeah,
FBA.
that's not a joke,
There you
man.
go. That's no joke, my guy. So there you go. It's like this trading is not going to stop. Like you can trade now essentially 24/7 on multiple different markets there. So there you go, guys. Good luck here. We tried another little attempt here on on the Qs here at bottoming signal. I think Gaurav, this one might hold a little bit more weight. So we got to try to make this as large as we possibly can here, guys. This trade, I don't know how big this bounce is going to be, so we're going to be patient. Wait for this pullback. All right, there you go. So all right, so we, jeez, that would not be good. But again, we got this trade. Gaurav, I know you're looking at it. Let's hopefully it comes into play. I'm going to add some size here, guys.
Adam
That's what
Duluth.
we got to do. That's what we got to do. All right, we added Tertiary.
Hey,
Come on,
this guy's a
man.
king of adding, bro.
Come
it's
on.
very annoying.
No, actually, no, I'm not.
Yeah, you
Far
are.
from it, man.
Because I just struggle so much with that. Adam DeLuce, Jeff Mendel is a legend. Joseph, been watching you for years, and he's one of the best. Shout out to him. Thank you very much, Adam, for the kind words. Have you met Jeff Adam? He wasn't here when you were here. Were you? Let me know.
Jeff Adam? No, I don't know yet.
No, I don't think it was.
No, is that his actual name, Jeff Adams?
No. Jeff, like Adam DeLuce. Did he meet Jeff Mendel?
Oh, I don't know if
That's
Jeff
what I'm
met.
saying.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I met ADL here though. Our guy.
Of course,
I met ADL.
of course. All right, guys. Here's the deal. We're still holding this IPO because it hasn't stopped me out. So I left my stop where it is. I already told you guys I'm defending that 60 penny area. It hasn't triggered to the low side. That doesn't mean it's a good trade going forward. I mean, it's a good trade for me so far because we're profitable on it. But the point I want to make is we have uninterrupted lower highs on the 5. And here's what I'm looking at on the side charts. You guys know my affinity for these side charts. IOTR is the ticker I'm looking at, and this is what I'm talking about. Ever since we made that $4 high a day, we have been putting in lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. All the while, though, we've been holding up at that 60 penny area. What kind of chart pattern is that, Joseph Wilson? It is a descending wedge, aka a flat bottom break candidate. So this is what I'm talking about right now. So we're going to look to either get stopped out on the break of 60. I don't think I'm going to be looking for shorts on this because they're going to be prohibitively expensive because it is IPO day, and that typically is the case. Borrow shorts are expensive on IPO day as a general rule, so we'll keep tabs on this one. I did weasel back into CXAI for a VWAP trade. I'm going to keep this one tight, though. So I did do well on this one. We got stopped out for the remaining amount. I only had one out left. Got stopped out 102. So I'm back in 106, looking at wetting the beak. But anything below that level, we're gonzino. Joseph, going to keep my eye out on this one.
Yeah, guys, I want us to focus on is that an older one there, Sharif? Or is that a new one?
Oh, do that again?
Hit that one again there.
I didn't see it. Oh.
Yeah, I know, Gora.
Oh, that's a new one.
Yeah,
I remember that
Make sure
one.
you guys hit the like and subscribe.
So animated. It's so extra on that.
Ooh,
see,
whoa.
she's just more elegant.
Where's my one of this?
Yeah, where is it, Joseph? It's not done.
What do you mean it's not done? I never even did one yet. What is that? What is this? Oh my! All right, I see how it is around here.
He's upset.
Yeah.
He's taking it with a Fed.
Yeah, there we go. So, all right, guys, I'll remember that one there, Andre.
Wow, Andre, poor on the hardest working guy here.
Yeah, I mean, guys, like we're down 5% in the Qs here. There is no sign of any form of strength right now. We're probably going to give back the majority of the day that we gained yesterday as we continuously just blow through these reversal signals when we add size. So. Nothing more frustrating than that. It just means that sellers are fully in control here. Tesla continuing to bleed back down to 240s here, Sharif, mid 245s, and then there we go. So I'm going to take a hefty haircut on this trade here, guys.
All right. Well, let's have a look at Apple because everybody's yelling about how everything is tanking. So we might as well join the red party, and I'm not talking about the Chinese Communist Party or the former Soviet Party.
Any form of.
There's too much. There's too much. Mr. President, we don't want to win anymore. Yeah, calm down, bro. All right, so let's have a look at what we're doing over here because I'm going to flip short, I think, on this. So let's go ahead and get short on the dead one, Apple. We got 75s. Here we go. Let's see if we can cover something in the mid-60s. I'll look to defend at least into 88 on this bad boy. 87. Let's see what this one does. I don't want to be quick to take it out because it does feel like we are free falling with not much holding us up here. So we're about 10 pennies out of the money right now, but that's not really a concern for me. We're going to set up some beak wetters if we can and some places to add. So getting short on Apple. We're well away from, any 100-point area to the downside, that is. So that's why I'm kind of trying to take a short right now, 186.75 here, Joseph, looking to go short on Apple.
So I got out of this trade. We might get a bounce here, but I believe that the sellers are fully in control. You can see that the TQs are down 15%, putting the market down around 5% today, this morning. So yeah, again, I don't think so. For me personally, just thinking out loud, I need to start flipping because these signals aren't working. They're just getting blown by. It doesn't matter about the volume, etc. So it's just time to start flipping that bias. Hopefully, it's not too late. I mean, with the China tariffs, we probably should still be going to the downside. So that's the name of the game. And now we're probably going to squeeze here. So this is what I'm referring to here, guys. I went really small here so I could hold it for a little bit longer, and then I actually go slightly more aggressive with the base. But the volatility in the market is not paying any mind to some of these signals that would work in a bullish sentiment type market. So that's what we have to do. We have to be able to adjust. So not a good loss there. I don't know. Again, I added aggressively. Didn't work out. So now I have to be like, what are we going to do? At what point are we going to pull back? Even if they do put a bottoming signal in, wait for those signals, if they bounce, to run into some form of resistance and then just short it. I'm looking at the tape. It's extremely weak. If we focus on it here, guys, the reaction towards the ask and above the ask is next to none. But when we hit the bid and below the bid, you can see that we're more reactive on that front and then continuing to move lower and lower. So I think it's just the name of the game. Follow the tape, read the tape, and go with it, because any form of reversal signal is just getting blown through right now.
We're just blowing this move down here on Apple, multiple shorts. Dude, wow, man, this is crazy here on Apple. All right, we'll take more there. Are we done the trade? No, we're still, we're still holding, man. We're about 50 pennies in the money on this Apple trade. All right, let's go a little bit more here. Okay, we're gonna take it out right there. Please, this dang punch, let me zoom in because this was a scalp trade only. So you'll be able to see short cover at short cover, cover. So we'll just keep doing it. So there's obvious weakness in the market. The market is turning here. We're 5.5% in negative land on the NQ June contract. Apple is down 6%. Tesla's down 10.5%. Nvidia's down 7.8%. Oh my goodness, Amazon is down 6 1/3. Where the hell was I when all this was happening? Meta's down 7, Microsoft's down 4 1/3, Google's down 4 1/5. What the hell else? What else we got? Yeah, that's it. Okay, so sorry. We are headed down aggressively on the market. Adara, I know it is happening now.
Sorry.
Go. Well, before we go to Adara, go ahead.
Neil just said something. We might limit down. Very, very true. We're at 5.5% here. 7% is that volatility call there. So
it is.
We're getting very close to it, guys. If we continue
good
to
call,
lead,
Joseph.
On that name. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No,
brother.
that's very important, bro.
Good point out there, Neil. And let's see what Adara's up to, guys.
We're going to talk here about what's happening now in these markets. I was looking to see that limit down. Yeah, S&P 500 down 5.5%, and NASDAQ actually down pretty much the exact same amount, 5.44 versus 5.62 to the downside for the SPY. Both of these down pretty much almost identically, when we usually find there's a bit of a divergence in their performance. So that's certainly of note. Also of note, more tariff talk, more tariff concerns. Of course, Donald Trump did announce that tariff pause on Truth Social yesterday, which led the NASDAQ to have its second best session of all time. But as we talked about, a lot of these best sessions of all time in the NASDAQ are usually centered around bear markets, otherwise weak markets, or periods of really notable tension for the stock market. Trump, the White House, I guess, now announcing 145% tariffs on China in total after the newest announcement, as, of course, confirmed here by CNBC, being reported by them after the White House confirmed it. So S&P 500, NASDAQ on watch here. We did also, it's worth this morning, get CPI lower than expected across the board. Now we have roughly 75% of participants expecting we're not going to get a cut in May. Tesla to the downside here. This Mag 7, an auto name, getting a bit of a price target decrease from UBS. We know Ford, GM on watch as well, any of these tariff-sensitive names. But then there's KMX. KMX was our one earnings play of the day. They already gapped down. Right now, though, after closing yesterday here around this $81 level, currently trading around 64. KMX near lows, lots of weakness in this market. We'll have to wait and see how everything unfolds. But certainly selling off today after yesterday's strength. And back to you. Or Neil and his lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
All right, everybody, welcome to the lesson of the day. I feel like I'm still going to say what I was going to say before, but a few things have happened since I had that thought. You know, like the NASDAQ being down 5.5% and everything capitulating all over itself. I could say something else, but capitulating all over itself is clean enough, and no one's going to get us on the algorithm. Just look, a quick recap. Your SSR on Tesla, you're down over 10%. You're 2 points away from the halt level on the S&P futures. It's been an absolute rug pull. So what I was wanting to get at today in a specific sense was, what are you going to do when you have a plan of action or you have like what you think is going to be your A+ idea? I'm looking over at these futures. This is nonsense. I'm in GameStop, by the way. All right, here. We're a little distracted here because I'm in GameStop. It's at the low of the day, and I was just getting a trailing stop in there, and then I'm in Alibaba. So just a lot happening in this particular moment that I want to make sure my orders are lined up on. But it's actually Alibaba that'll be the one that kind of prompted why I wanted to talk about, missed opportunity or what to do when you don't have an execution plan that sort of fits what ends up happening. Like I like the short in Alibaba. And we wanted to short in Alibaba. I wanted to short back into 110. It was relatively strong compared to the market. It was trending up the whole day. And there was just never anything that set up, for me, the way that was going to be clean to short it off of the resistance level. However, if you like a general direction, there's all kinds of execution patterns that can fit risk to reward without you needing a resistance level like a 110. And sometimes getting better is about recognizing those. A lot of times what you'll hear me say is, I want a trend break. Okay, where's my trend from the beginning of the day? Not till it gets to VWAP? Well, that's not really setting up. A short-term trend? Well, that's not a high percentage play for me. But I think everybody's going to be able to see what I'm getting at. If you're looking for a direction on a trade and you just want to be able to get in with a good risk to reward, failed break of the high. This is something, and look, I'm not in it until $4 from here, so I don't get to do any or $3 in here. I don't get to do any celebrating. Things getting dropped around here as well. But you have this topping tail candle here on Alibaba, and if I'm waiting for 110, it's in the pocket. What up, Jeff? It's just craziness going on behind me. If I'm waiting for this to be a short, you do get this reversal candle, and then I can be in at 108 with a $0.50 stop. More along the lines of the execution pattern that I want. I want to be able to risk something to an obvious level with an obvious out before I get in and then jump in. You're not always going to get like a consolidation off a resistance or the push into the level that you want. You've got to be able to sort of wing it in the direction that's going to come for you. And the other thing, and I was saying this, you're never going to be as short as you want to be or be able to hold every single move. But I can tell you, like Adam was like, how's your day going? I'm not as short as I would like to be because I got trailed out of Mara and didn't get back into it. So short all morning long where it does fit your pattern. And even then, I just wasn't believing it. And I even said if we fill in the gap to the prior bar from the pullback yesterday, that I'm going to be trailing out of things. Well, that ended up being the wrong call. And ultimately, it's okay if you make what is considered, quote unquote, the wrong call, as long as you followed your plan. So I'm fine with the fact that I followed my plan, but if you like a direction, sometimes finding a more aggressive entry back in is going to be all right, because there was a topping tail candle. Again, I don't mind that I trailed out on plan, but like Alibaba, there's a topping tail candle and there's entries off of that where you don't have to wait for VWAP. I can adjust what I'm looking for, understanding we've got a bit of a more aggressive market, and I have to find myself a more aggressive entry, but one that doesn't require more risk. Again, this topping tail candle allows me to be in at 50 with a stop at like 57. It's the same thing as before, 5, 6, 7 cents worth of risk to be able to get that flush. It's just not at the level that I want. So if you like a direction and you find the market a little bit more volatile than normal, adjusting your plan of action for subtle little executions that are, again, more aggressive, let's just say, because it's not getting to your price, but still within your risk parameters, that's what you're hunting for. And it's not easy. I just think if you're looking short or long, topping tail, bottoming tail candles can give you that edge to get back into the trend trade with a little amount of risk, and then the upside, of course, to boot. So your lesson of the day, you're not always going to get the price exactly like you want or the line on the chart that gets tested exactly like you want. So you're going to have to find other ways to join the trend. Those topping tail candles, great little tight entries to be able to get in with the trend, and I think I should be using them a little bit more. Shout out to you, Adam DeLuz, because we changed the lesson a little bit on the fly. Because not short enough here today. You saw me short all morning, but not short enough. There's your lesson of the day. always try to be able to adjust without blowing up your risk plan.
Short Apple right now, guys, at 69s. You guys know where I'm going short, man. It's not a secret. Boom! Right into that one. We take 69 pennies for profits there. I'm going to keep shorting the dead one until it tells me not a good idea. So we're going short on Apple. I'm just going to keep shorting it off the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. That's my move. It's not rocket science. It's been obviously rejecting that green line. You don't need to be a chartered market technician to be able to look to see where the lines are rejecting off, and every pop into the dang 10 exponential moving average. This makes my trade look so bad, dude. Look at that. It just dropped another 50 pennies. Why am I so quick to take it out? Calm the hell down, man. Yeah, I'm just trying to psych myself into holding the position a little bit more. But we're going to keep shorting Apple, all the pops into the 10. I'm going to continue to short until it tells me that this is no longer the right trade. Lots of weakness right now. We've got multiple SSR names to report on, Joseph. Tesla's short sale restricted. AMD is now short sale restricted. And there are a couple on the precipice of being SSR. We're talking about you, SMCI. We're talking about you, Intel. Also, AMAT on the borderline as well. So lots of names, borderline SSR. So we'll keep an eye out on that, but we do have to send it up to the human algo.
We're going to take a look here at the market. Here is the futures. We did have a little bit of a bounce there, of course, but it is worth noting Fed's Goolsbee speaking now. Fed's Goolsbee saying that the goal of the Fed is to find a through line and not jump to conclusion, adding that the timetable of the market is not the same timetable of the Fed. So really saying they're not going to be thinking about these market movements. They're going to be focused on what the Federal Reserve itself is trying to do here and accomplish with their goals. Also, I want to add here, yesterday we had a bit of a move on the auction. Today we have another auction. 1 p.m., 30-year bond auction. Be aware. I will try to remind you guys ahead of that event. And back to you.
Thanks for that. That auction was big yesterday. So we got to pay attention to that auction now. The yields are back in focus because Donald Trump and the
10-year hit a low of 3.8.
It did.
Today, yeah.
But 3 point, where the hell is it at right now, bro?
It's at like 4 and something.
Okay, 4 and a third. Yeah. That's wild.
Yeah, he had it.
Oh my goodness.
That's crazy. Nakul Patrick. I mean, no, but see, the thing is, though, don't feel bad for me, but I'll just explain something. So when you write something, it's always fixed income, right? So I had a fixed amount of money I could have made, and my downside was obviously a lot more unlimited compared to my top side, which was limited. But yeah, it is what it is. We're over it now. I mean, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
VDA down 7.2%. The Qs are down 5% here now, so a slight recovery. They were knocking on the door of going into that limit down. So be patient, guys. And one thing that Sharif and I were just talking about off screen is that he thought that we were going to dump, and I thought the inverse, to be honest with you. I thought that with this 90-day pause, the market already pricing a lot in here, that we could get maybe somewhat of a rally, a more sustained rally.
Fair.
And Sharif has been 100% right on that. It doesn't matter about everything else. It seems China is that big key player that we need to focus on.
And there's data to support this whole thing, Joseph. Let's talk a little bit about it. Fabian, if I can show the screen, I know you want me to zoom in, so I will. So you don't have to do it, but here it is. It is, my man. So here, look at this data, bro. So NASDAQ jumped 12% Wednesday, second biggest day ever. Adira was nice enough to correct us yesterday because we were thinking it was during COVID. It was not. It was during the dot-com crash. January 2001, the only day that's beaten that. But here's the deal. This has a tendency to show that big days like this occur during bear markets. So the NASDAQ 100, as you said, rallied 12% yesterday, second best day ever. But Thursday's pre-market shows renewed weakness, and that was exactly the case. Historically, so big up days like this on Wednesday occur during bear markets and may not signal a lasting rebound. So for example, we'll be able to talk about. Sorry, where are the data points that I had here? I did have them somewhere. Show yourself. Okay, sorry, I did not have that over here. So I'll find it. And get back to you guys. But the point is, these bigger days, or the bigger days that we've had in the market, typically happen during prolonged down periods. So dead cat bounces, so to speak. We'll have to see if this one ends up being one of them or what the situation is. But that is the look for now. I want to mention JNVR. I was interested in this one at the volume weighted average price at around 48.50, excuse me. It lost it and then some. It is now halted to the second time to the downside, guys, at 38.72. This one is all sorts of bleeding. That is 2 halts to the downside now. It's lost VWAP and it's lost about half of its percentage gain on the day, now up only 41%. I'm going to keep an eye out on that one. I'm still involved in CXAI, but it's not really doing a whole hell of a lot. What else we got? Apple continues to bleed. My goodness. The blood has not stopped, Joseph.
Nope.
Now the NQ.
We're going to hit that.
It feels like it is, man. So I think we might need to start keep shorting these large caps because that looks like a good trade for now. But I'm going to look to short the pops. I don't want to short at the bottom. Again, the 10 exponential has been money. I'm going to go ahead and wait at 187 and a third. I'm going to wait at 187. So we're going to go ahead and set up a short for that 187 area. Actually, we'll put a couple of shekels below that. So that's what we're doing there. I know, right? Okay, so
dude,
my man's eating a cookie right now. Huh?
Yeah, you got
to
it.
tell him about it?
Well, there's not much to tell him about it. Sharif got me this here. It's pretty damn good, to be honest with you.
It's oatmeal, right?
Yeah, it's very, very good.
There you go. So we're within his rules at the moment. We got to go to Adair, though.
With Adair, it's good, man.
Keep an eye here on the NASDAQ making new day's lows. We have more comments here coming from Fed's Goolsbee that I think are of note. He said that there can an argument that can be made that short-run tariffs would not alter the economy's path. So seemingly a little bit optimistic, but he also said if we lose confidence, so I'm guessing consumer confidence here, if confidence is lost, it could, quote, provoke economic problems. So Fed's Goolsbee saying that these tariffs in and of themselves, if they're short run, that's not necessarily an issue, but the confidence that could be lost could lead to a lot of economic problems in the longer term. Back to you.
Let me know when we're ready.
Are we doing it now, Fabian?
What are you short, brother?
Pardon me? 1 minute. Okay. The Katina Man is short 191 on Apple. He's $6 in the money. Get it, Katina Man? Huh?
Yeah, I only have 150 shares.
Oh, well, only. Okay. I don't know what to say to that. That's a lot of shares, relative for me anyway. So good luck. We're going to shout out the Katina Man. He just got back from the gym. He's amped up. He's looking at the shorts that he's got on right now, and we're very, very pleased for him. My man Big Spile has returned in the chat with a $4.99 super chat. And what Adara says, get it, Kyle. What happens with the zero DT options market if market trips? Joseph Wilson, you're on the spot, bro.
Buddy, I'm stuffing my face.
This guy's eating. He can't answer right now, Big Spile. He's eating. All right, no, so for real. I'm sitting here at 187 like a schmuck or a schlemiel. Shout out to all my Yiddish speakers out there. I'm not getting filled. So maybe I should be punching in at lows? No. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move down my short a little bit. We'll look at 186 and a half, 186 and 3/4, because the blood does not stop, Sean. The blood is not stopping. The market is headed down. It's headed down aggressively. We are now over 6% red on the NQ. We only need about 0.9% more to halt,
0.8,
and then we shut down the show, and then we go home. Right, Katina Man? No, I'm kidding, of course. So... I'll hop on. He's like, you can go home if you want. I'll hop on. Shout out, guys. All right, go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah. So, Spile, honestly, I can't even answer that question. To be honest with you, I have no idea what happened. So, I don't think anything necessarily. To be honest.
Well, I'm not going to ask ChatGPT because it failed me yesterday.
MB Master Beef new IPO is hot. Says Code Tanny. Thank you for that. Sharif, we're really knocking on the door here. 6 1/4, 6 1/3 here now.
Joseph.
Continuing to bleed here, guys, is the cues. I'm just waiting for this call from in my ear to send it back to Adair. We might have some more news, most likely regarding tariffs. Adair, what are you up to?
Well, actually, it's not. It's about this Master Beef IPO. So this MB, same initials as Providence and Manitoba MB here, the IPO is interesting. These stats are almost identical to that IOTR we had earlier, almost to the number. So IOTR, we had the $8 million gross proceeds there, 2 million shares offered, and we also had a $4 price. MB here, we have 2 million shares offered to raise $8 million, and they also, it's worth noting here, $4 price they were priced at. They actually opened much like IOTR, a little bit lower, around $3.80. So there's lots of confluence to be found between both of these IPOs today. Again, just to recap about MB specifically, Master Beast is a Chinese or Hong Kong-based restaurant group, and they do have a $8 million IPO, 2 million shares offered, $4 price, opening below that. Back to you.
Absolutely, man. We are printing up a storm here on Apple, baby. We joined you with that, Katina, man. We've been shorting Apple just with you, my man. Even though it hurts me to do this because I love this company and my long term getting lit up. But we're nicely in the money here, man. We're about more than 50 pennies in the money over here. We're looking for more blood here, Katina, man. As it dips down below 185, we're looking now at a low day on Apple of 184.66. We're literally at the low day. Give me that low day. Bang again on AAPL. Now, Joseph, it is now 7% in Negativeville. The blood is in the streets, and we are awfully close to that halt perimeter on the NQ. We are about 0.75% away from triggering 7%. If you are a newer trader, the market, I'm talking about the NQ here. Each market is independent. The NQ will halt if we hit 7% in Redsville. We're awfully close to that. So let's keep watching now. On the NQ, we're on halt watch now. Market halt watch. We need like an animation on that.
6.5%
market halt
on
watch.
SPY, Sharif.
Say it again?
6.5% on SPY here, Sharif. Down to the downside.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
This
so
is getting real bad, guys. Real bad. Zero says circuit breaker time.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
This is probably one of the best cookies I've ever had in my life. To be honest with you, hands down.
It's an oatmeal cookie, Katina, man.
It is top notch. It's a 10 out of 10. If I was pulling a Dave Portnoy right now, cookie review time, this is top notch stuff here, guys. But let's see what is also going on. Time to take these shorts. You can see this consolidation phase that we have going on in IBIT. And now starting to head lower with the overall market. It's only a matter of time until we hit that volatility, that ban halt. So again, guys, you can only place orders on the bid if someone in the chat was asking about that. So there you go, 441%. JTK, my guy, JTK. So I'm going to stop leaning forward there, guys. He's laughing at us all. JTK.
Why?
441% on my 515 SPY puts, paid $262 per contract times
cheers,
5.
fellas.
Cashing out 997. Let's go times 5. Let's go. Cheers, fellas. Yeah, right on, JTK.
Very
way
happy
to smash
for you.
it. Yeah, way to smash it there, brother. Love seeing that. Glad that you killed that and smashed that. I'm done. I'm not even going to the club
Katina
anymore.
man's in the club, bro.
I'm going home.
I'm going home.
I'm not going to the club anymore, man. That's
Fabian, do we have to do that ad read or what? Should we? Okay, ready to go. Let me know. Okay. We got to pay a bill, Katina, man. What are we supposed to do? All right. Okay, we're going to halt. Apple is absolutely dropping, guys. 7.75%. Here comes the halt, guys. 6.95%. Let me bring in the NQ June contract. We're very close. We're 0.5% away. Are we going to halt? My thing froze. No, it didn't. Okay, here we go. 6.89. We broke 18,000. We're really close. We're 6% on the ES. We were 6.95 on the NQ. We missed it by a dang hair. I'm talking about 0.05%. I watched it with my own eyes. It looks like we're getting a bounce right now, Joseph, off 17,950 or about 25 points higher than that, but that is not in the clear. We could absolutely halt, guys, on the NQ. That would be the first time that I experienced that halt live. I mean, I remember during COVID, but yeah, that'll be the first time ever that the exchange is halted while I'm trading. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Ready to go, Fabian. Scared of losing money in Forex? Forex VIM protects your trades like a bodyguard. This smart EA uses strict stop loss, take profit, and light martingale strategies to recover losses safely. It's optimized with high quality tick data for accuracy and works in any market condition. Plus, you get updates and 24/7 monitoring so you can trade, with confidence. Trade safer, trade smarter. Visit forexvim.com now or click the link in the description. Joseph.
All right. Hey, guys, it looks like the market is really heavily defending that band there. Look at this volume here, guys. That's absolutely insane. Look at this volume here on this 5-minute print. Are we going to close as this hammer? But that is a lot of volume right there, Shreve. This could be the potential bottom. The market does not want us to hit that 7% down. So 1,000% on the portfolio.
Joseph, I have to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I have to interrupt you because the Katina man just updated me. The NQ will only halt if the S&P reaches 7%. So it's the S&P that has to hit that 7% mark in Negatoryville for the NQ to halt. So keep that in mind. They are interrelated. I wanted to clarify that because I was incorrect earlier. Joseph, sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. We need to know that information. That's very quality because some people in the chat were saying that they've seen it hit that 7% mark. So there you go. You need the S&P to hit that 7% as well too. And it was knocking on the door. We're still about 6.7%. So can we head back towards the lows? Absolutely. Kyle, this is your environment to the fullest. Congrats, Bears. Where are all those guys that told me I was silly 3 months ago? Watch 510 for the PPT to swoop in.
Who are those idiots that were telling you were silly?
Yeah. Where are they?
Yeah, show yourself.
Where are you?
Why are you looking back there? Who was saying that they're back there?
Me, to be honest with you. So that's where I was looking for people. Again, guys, not going to try to play these signals. You can see a lot of them start to come in here in the market. If we had slightly more bullish sentiment, these signals would be coming so well into play, but they're just continuously getting blown past here, Sharif. I'm short IBIT. Let's see if we can break this support.
Absolutely, guys. I'm still involved in that CXAI position, but I don't even really think it's worth talking about. We really need to be looking at the overall market. I'm just looking to go short here on Apple. I'm just looking at where the right entry should be. It's just taking me a little bit of time here. So I'm going to get in eventually. I've been scalping this very aggressively early on. We had multiple entry, I mean, like I don't usually scalp these large caps in this fashion, but today I think it is warranted to do that. So we're going to keep an eye out on this one. We do have a double bottom right now on the 5 on Apple where the 183.5 generally has been defended. However, there is a lower high. So the weakness is still evident. And here we go again. We're going to break the low on Apple. The low is 34s. There goes the low. The blood will not stop. It's over 7% now. I see it on the NQ. I saw it
at 7 right now, Sharif.
Well, no. The ES. Well, I think we're looking at the ES. No. Okay. Which one is it?
I'm on.
Is it going to be SPY or ES? Can you ask Copilot exactly what's going on?
I see how it is now.
Well, I don't want to ask you chat gooped, but make sure it's accurate because remember what it did to me yesterday, right? With that biggest day nonsense, and then Dara had to correct me there. So let's not make that mistake again. So I'm keeping my eye here on Apple, 7% negative in the NQ. I'm talking about the NQ June contract. The ES June contract now is down 6 1/5. So it's not stopping to the downside, guys. We are in free freaking fall. It's the ES. Some people are saying it's the ES. Some people are saying it's the SPX. Some people are saying it's the SPY.
Yeah.
So what does the thing have to say over here?
So it's saying when trading around volatility bands, the choice between ES Mini and SPY depend on your trade. Okay, it doesn't even really tell me right now. Both instruments are highly correlated as they track S&P index. No, I got to ask it a different question. So,
go ahead.
Yeah. So which contract are we following?
Yeah. You can. Yeah,
you take it over.
Yeah, sure. I'm short Apple again over here. I just wet the beak at 183, but it is popping back up, so I will take this opportunity to. We don't have too many shares, but we'll look to add on the pops right now. Huge hammer candle right now. Let's see if we can get a pop back down into 82s. Let me set up some orders on this thing over here to the downside. Let's see if exactly what we get there. We're getting a bit of a bounce here on Apple. So anything above 185, I'm gonzino. This is a monster master bottoming tail candle right now on Apple and on the market as we move back above 18.8. Go ahead.
The ES street, it's the ES.
It's the ES.
Yeah,
so it's the ES June contract. Oh, it's like the current contract. Okay,
yes.
Just take it over for a second. I have to set up my orders.
Okay, so this short not really working out here, guys, but multiple bottoming signals in the market. Are we going to break past those, maybe, possibly, or have we put in a potential bottom? What is the options market telling us? Do we have high levels of OI here? Okay, so again. Yeah, we'll go to this week's expiration cycle. 435, we do have 5,000 open contracts. That's not like an outstanding amount. 425, we have 40,000 open contracts by the end of the week. Wow, that is not good whatsoever. We might get that magnet effect here, guys, and head towards those levels. That will most definitely give back the majority of what we had yesterday. SPY still down about 6.7% here, continuing to move lower. Doesn't look like anybody wants to step in and participate. Buyers, that is, and pick up some of the slack on today's session. Shreve still down about.
So just give me a second, dude. I'm just learning this trade.
Keep doing your thing. Yeah, guys. So let's see if we can get this short into play. I mean, I guess it's a positive sign that Bitcoin's holding up relatively well. Do we try longs all the way down here? Maybe, possibly. I'm thinking so. I like Tesla a lot. For a potential bounce, I mean, look at these pullbacks. These are small breaths here, guys. Again, you get this little breath, and then you just continue to move to the downside. So is that selling complete yet? Maybe, possibly. Let's be a little bit more patient. I'm short IBIT, obviously.
Guys, his chart.
Yeah, isn't working overly too well. But let's take a look at TSLA, see if this bottom has been put in as we start to climb higher. Looking for this resistance zone to come into play. Here on IBIT, you can see that we're consistently constructing these lower highs. That's a positive signal. Let's see if we can reject this, or we decide that we want to bounce. I got to fix this. So yeah, there you go. See, perfect, guys. You can see that we're starting to reject this. The weakness come in on the tape. I should have took some off here on that second rejection of that support system, but instead I'm holding on to it. Now Tesla taking a nice steady bounce here, guys, to the top side. Off of those signals that I was referring to earlier, you can see them across the board. They're on BABA, they're on SPY, they're on the Qs, they're on multiple underlines here, guys. So that might be a positive signal for somewhat of a bounce here. Let's see what Adair's up to.
Bouncing a little bit here. It is worth noting we still have comments coming through from Feds Goolsby as we have a very exciting, to put it mildly, trading session in front of us. Feds Goolsby saying that political interference can cause issues with how the Fed works, specifically saying that political interference can make it hard to make big rate hikes. Unclear if they're actually trying to hike rates here, but it is worth noting Feds Goolsby talking more generally here about political interference, specifically, though, that it can actually cause issues should there want to be hikes involved. Bounce here for the NASDAQ. Couple bottoming tail candles here. Back to you.
All right, yeah, thank you for that here, guys. If we continue to climb higher here, then I'm just going to have to hop out of this trade. I'm glad that I went really, really small size on this one just to see if we can get that continuation to the downside. IBIT lagging what everybody else is doing, so I was thinking that we were going to get that continuation. Again, NVDA bottoming signal, this is insane. We're getting look at how similar all these prints are on every single underlying. You go through the mag, they all have this exact same print. The market has this exact same print. So all that conviction put into one, then you can continue to look for that long, I think, at this point. Wait for that pullback because I believe it will come into play. But if we slowly grind higher, then there it is. That signal came heavily into fruition. He's good over there. All right, he's good over there. All right, but I mean, he's in a heater there. So
yeah, so we're out of the money. We're still out of the money, but I'm looking to defend that 10 exponential because the 10 exponential has been money. So we're looking for a move above 186.50. That stops me out of the position. So I'm going to go ahead and put my order in now for that 186.50 will be my line in the sand. And then we'll just go ahead and throw that on there. But we're short 185.31. We're still below the 10 exponential, so I'm looking for a move back down, hoping that I don't get stopped out to the high side. We're still 50 pennies out of the money, full disclosure. So be careful with this trade if you're following along with me right now. Looking for that 10 exponential rejection. The market, the NQ, that is still down about 6%, with the ES also recovering a little bit to the high side. So we'll keep an eye out on AAPL. Been involved in this trade for a while. Looking looking for that 10 exponential bounce. You're getting a move as well higher on the futures above 18,150. So we'll keep tabs on that as it zigs and zags right now below the 10 exponential, not really clearing it with any distance, but definitely a lot closer to it than it would make me comfortable. So keeping my eye on Apple right now, down 6 1/3, Joseph, looking for a move back down.
Okay, nice. Good look there, brother. Continue to hold on to that short. I know you're sitting in that one because I believe that these pops are going to be faded. You're not seeing that nice jump here that you would actually see. And if you look at the lower time frames, you can see that that volume is really, really low. So hopefully that comes into play. I'm going to pull up Apple on my side chart here because I am rooting for the guy to the right of me. Let's come back into the zone. Same signals that we can see on Apple across the board. Amazon, Tesla, Hood. There you go. So you get that pop. Really nice bottoming signals right there, guys. So there it is. How deep is this pullback going to be? Only time will tell. We have to be more patient. That volume may be in there, but you can see that those levels were highly defended. 7% no go. Highly defended levels. So we're talking about market being rigged. Here you go. You go to hit that volatility band, and no, see you later. We get that 1% pop here up in the market. TSLA still negative 20% here. Going to hold on to this. But if we continue to squeeze and buyers really step in, then I got to get out of this trade because we're not breaking down like the overall market. We are pulling in right here now, though, Sharif, so that's a positive sign. NVDA still hovering around 105. Guys, so you get a 5-minute pop and then immediately ran into some resistance and coming right back in. But this was the signal that Gaurav and I, Los Polios, and other traders are looking for. And if we had any more bullish sentiment, I believe that this play right here would have brought us all the way back to the volume weighted average price. But that is a no-go. 145% tariffs on China. Market doesn't like that. That just shows you the importance between these two trade partners, that if no matter who you're giving a pause to, if you can't work things out with China, then the market is going to reflect that. And you can see it here in today's session. Down 7% at one point. We got TSLA down 20%, so that means Tesla down 10%. That's crazy. And the Q's down 7% as well at one point. Hood getting knocked on the door. Not very good either. I was looking to play some options on this, getting a bounce from the lows, but again, I have around 43 bucks with a low of 37 today, giving back the majority of that move here, Sharif. So not a good look in some of these tech names, brother.
All right, we're going to Dara.
Oh, I didn't get that one. Yeah. Okay. How come I didn't get that one?
To talk here about more comments from Fed's Goolsby. He's talking a lot about tariffs here. He said that the current tariffs are, quote, huge. But here's the more important things. He said the constant modification of these tariffs does increase uncertainty. And because of that, it's a time for the Fed to, quote, watch the data. Volatile tariff policy means that the Fed should wait. So Fed's Goolsby saying the Fed needs to wait and sit on their hands right now, given all of this volatility with the current tariff policy. Also, I shared this on X. I reposted this on X. You guys can look at it for yourself on X at TTV Research. But apparently, the official halt rules are that nothing will halt unless the SPX specifically is down more than 7%. So SPX, what you want to watch, currently down just under 5%, guys. Back to you.
On Apple, so we end up getting cut up pretty aggressively there. Tried to add aggressively into it, so yeah, it's okay. You win some, you lose some. This time I lost out. We'll look to get short on Apple again if another key technical area comes in. I'm looking at 189. That's the bottom low, or the 190 and a quarter, 190 and a fifth area. That is where the volume weighted average price is. So I'll look short again, but this time I got rocked on AAPL. So that's the way the cookie crumbles. We do not get upset about that. We'll look to manage risk a little bit better next time. So keeping my eye out on this one. Am I still involved in that other trade? Yes, I am on CXAI. We got that print to the high side there at 108, but this is really kind of dropping off in volume at the moment. So not really expecting a whole lot. I do like the fact that it did respect that technical level, that it held VWAP, but it's not really rocketing to the upside, and the volume is really starting to drop off a cliff here. So not sure what to make of this, but it feels like I should be involved right now with the overall market. Because that's where all the volatility is. And it's just about getting the right short here, because I don't want to be getting cut up even more. So I'm definitely looking short again, unless we take the volume weighted average price on a closing basis on the NQ June contract. We were talking about basically the market halting And so we could be getting kind of, you know, that pseudo SSR bounce, so to speak. That's kind of what I'm thinking there. So keeping my eye out on this one. Not much for me to report in my current trade. So we'll keep a look here on Apple. This is kind of the Apple chart. Unreal how many entries and exits I have on this one. But I did not execute well on this last trade over here. I did quite well initially on it, but that aggressive bounce off 183 to the T did get me into some trouble. Just wanted to let you know that. So that's the way it is there. Shout out to my man Big Spile. What was he doing? Well, he was messaging me something, but I couldn't look at it because I was in a trade here that I did not want to lose focus. What did my man message me there? I heard, let it soak in. Okay. My man Big Spile, nice 428% profit on that options trade. Love zero DTE. That's why he was asking you about 0 days to expiry. Left a couple on just to see how the halt works for them. Not a bad idea, my man. Nice way to kind of learn as you go and like learn in real life, so to speak. So we'll keep tabs on that. Let me know how it goes there, Big Spile. Shout out to you, my man. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, same thing. I'm just sitting in this short here, guys. We broke through some of these key resistance zones as the market starts to pull back in here again. So not the best entry if you can catch at the top of the zone, but I'm just trying to go short with the overall trend here, and I think that's what it is. So we get this pullback. Let's see if we can hold up to these levels and then start to come back and break some of this zone. If we do break this support level, then I believe Bitcoin can start to sell a little bit more. A lot of these big names down 10%, etc. So I'm expecting Bitcoin to start following eventually. TSLA was probably the trade of the day that I missed off on those bottoming signals, but then I spent too much mental capital here on the TQs trying to catch the bottom. That just didn't work out. So you can see we took two attempts on the long recovery, and then eventually it comes into play on some of these signals here. You can see them right there on the 5-minute, and then you get that bounce that we were looking for earlier here in the day. And Robinhood is something that I had cooking up and were some of the better trades I put on this morning. So Robinhood worked out really well. It took a couple attempts, I mentioned. So we were 0 for 2 to start. Then we went a nice little trade here, then stopped out break even, and then we took another one, didn't work out, got right back in, and then that's when we start to just partial out all the way up to the top side. I'm still in this IBIT short here, Shreve, looking for the break of the zone.
Sounds good. What are you guys looking at? I mean, obviously everybody's looking at the overall market. Is there anything else you guys are looking at? I mean, I got one small cap gapper over here that's not doing a whole lot. Is there another one in your world that I don't have my eyes on? I'm seeing the top gapper on the day right now. Who is it? It is, I think it's AREB, but the chart looks like hot garbage. So I'm, percentage winner or not, top percentage name or not, the chart is not to my liking at all. I'm talking about AREB, #1 gap scanner. Melissa's looking at Google. Joaquin is looking at Donald John Trump. Allmax is looking at gold. Beer producers, Palantir of 84. Shout out to you guys. Daljeet, MLGO. Carlos is looking at Pfizer.
Yep.
Michael Luke is looking at the VIX. Perfect play today. Great shout out to you. Thank you for reminding me about that. Because if you don't want to trade the VIX or the futures, that is, you can trade UVXY. UVXY is another kind of equity, it's not an equity, but it's a derivative of the VIX. If it can load here. Oh, let me load it up on the 5. There we go. So this is what the VIX looks like. So UVXY is the ticker. Oops, what happened over here? UVXY. It is on the, I believe, BATS. BATS is Amex?
BATS, I'm not too sure.
I think I have permissions for it over here, but I kind of forget. Anyway, UVXY is a ticker. It's up 36.5%. If you're wondering what this is, when the market goes down, the VIX goes up. When the market goes up, the VIX goes down. So it's kind of like an inverse play that you can use, right? So UVXY is the ticker. You guys can have a look at that if you're interested. I'm keeping an eye still on Apple because we're making 2 aggressive green candles in a row here on the 5, but the third candle really not taking out that level. We have breaking news with Adair at the big desk.
We do. Keep an eye on Chinese EVs here. This is LI. Nice push to the upside. Handelsblatt reporting that apparently EU and China have started to negotiate to abolish EU tariffs on Chinese EVs. So some negotiations reportedly happening here between the European Union and China to abolish these EU tariffs on Chinese EVs. LI, ZK, NIO, and XPEV are all tickers to look at with this story in mind. You could also look at KWEB and FXI. Those are the two, I guess, China-related ETFs to watch out for here as we have this report. Again, no word on U.S. negotiations with China, but EU apparently negotiating here. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. So yeah, still sitting in this trade right here. We're getting a little bit of a breath. Are we going to have that pullback? Maybe, possibly. So this could be a 5-minute ABCD pattern. And let me know whenever we're good to go there, Fabian. I know very momentarily. It's a TTP, right? All right, let's go here, guys. Trade the pool. Robinhood took commissions out of the equation, and that was huge. But trading still meant risking your own capital. Trade the pool is picking up where Robinhood left off by making it possible to trade big without risking big. They let you trade with company capital up to $200,000, while your risk stays locked at just a one-time fee starting at $47. No margin calls, no big deposits, just skills and real opportunity. This is the future of trading. Join Trade the Pool now there, guys. So there it is. Stevenson been trading the pool for a couple times now. He says he's like it. He's going to pass that evaluation soon time. And congratulations to him. So scan that QR code and check that out. Let's see if we can get this breakdown here in IBIT, Sharif, or it's just a breath before we take a small climb towards the volume-weighted average price.
All right. Yeah, this market is pretty crazy. Just keeping my eye on things. UVXY is the one I was talking about. There's also another one, guys, I wanted to mention. This one is not doing as much volume. So UVXY is done about 17.3 million shares, but there's also UVIX. I wanted to mention that to people because it's not the only one. This one's done less volume, though. I believe we're at 7.3, so about 10 million shares less, and this one's a bit more expensive, UVIX, whereas UVXY is about $45, so about not half, a little bit less than half the price. So you have your options there if you want to trade the VIX, so keep your eye out on that. I'm still keeping an eye out on Apple. Nothing doing over right now, but it does look like it might be rejecting the 20 exponential moving average on the 5. Not a level that I typically use all that much, but definitely looking at it for a setup right now. I'm talking about AAPL, which has been very aggressively red today. It's not the worst performer on the day. That title goes to your friend TSLA, down 10 1/3. And then, yeah, believe it or not, it's SSR. AMD is SSR. ARM is SSR. SMCI, Micron, Broadcom, Intel, Applied Materials, all short sale restricted right now because at one point or another during the trading day, they did hit 10% and then bounced up. The likes of Micron, though, haven't been able to recover above 10%, still down 11 3/4. So lots of red right now in the market, but does look like we are getting a little bit of a bounce here. Now, whether or not it's a dead cat bounce, we're going to have to wait and see. I'm keeping my eye on the candle formations. It doesn't look like this current 5-minute candle right now, whether on the futures or on Apple, because I'm looking at both, is clearing the prior high by all that much, but it's still a higher low. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. It's a 3-candle green setup on both Apple and the futures to the high side. I'm talking about the 5-minute time frame off which I chart. So if we do make a new 5-minute candle and make a new low on a closing basis, that could be another invitation to short because, well, then the dead cap bounce is over. So I'm keeping my eye on Apple and on the futures.
Nice. Okay, good look there, Sharif. I like how you mentioned some of the names just being down. So let's take a look at some of the sectors here this morning. We don't have a single green one here today, guys. So at the best performing one, surprisingly, is down 1%. That's going to be the consumer staple. Sitting in second place here is the utilities, down about 2%, and real estate sitting in third, down 3.4%. So that just shows you how weak we truly are. Bottom 3, consumer discretionary, Sharif, down 5.8%. Technology sector down about 6.3%. And then energy sector down about 6.4%. Waiting for that call for news and Adara in my ear. And ready when you guys are. Adara, what's going on?
Trump's cabinet meeting was supposed to start at 11 a.m. and it was supposed to be closed press, which means no reporters were invited. It has only started just now, and we actually do have reporters in the room. I am watching and listening to the Associated Press feed, so keep an eye. Comments from Donald Trump potentially coming through from his cabinet meeting, which just started now. I also want to let you guys know that we do have the 30-year bond auction coming through at 1 p.m. So be aware, 30-year bond auction, 1 p.m. Eastern. Previous print here for the high yield was 4.623%. Here's the market, kind of a little bit of a pause right now as we've had a lot of volatility, certainly in a lot of headlines today. Back to you.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So very interesting. I know Adara already brought this, but I want to remind everybody again, in case you're joining us or you didn't have an opportunity to hear it, the EU and China converge on punitive tariffs for e-cars, reports Handelsblatt. It's a German website, I'm pretty sure, or something like that. Here's what they wrote. The tariff war instigated by U.S. President Donald Trump is driving countries around the world to new alliances. Apparently, the EU and China, the world's second and third largest economies, want to cooperate more closely in the future and emphasize the benefits of open markets. Interesting. According to information from Handelsblatt, very concrete steps are already being taken. This thing wants me to pay. It doesn't know that I'm like, I know how to do things. So we're going to go ahead and skirt, right? So we already skirted it there. We'll get to that to you in a second. But that is the news headline right now. So keep your eye out on that, macroeconomic development. Because, well, the EU did join the United States in slapping big boy tariffs on Chinese EVs. It wasn't just Canada. It wasn't just the United States. You had big boy slaps big boy slaps on Chinese electric vehicles as well from the EU bloc. So it's the fact that they're actually cooperating is kind of a development there. Adara, do you have more on that?
I have more on what's happening here in this market. A little bit of a pop here. Donald Trump said that yesterday was the biggest day in stock market history. I mean, NASDAQ's second biggest day ever, but worth noting here, he is talking about the strength in the market. We get a little bit of a pop here. He also said that his team, specifically citing Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick, are, quote, working with a lot of countries on tariff talks. So Donald Trump talking about inflation now as well. But again, it's really worth noting here that Trump is praising the market's big move yesterday. Again, not the biggest in history, but the second biggest in history for the NASDAQ, and saying that there will be talks with countries. He also said that there will be some problems with transitions, I guess referring to tariffs, but in the end, it will be an incredible thing. Back to you.
Second biggest. Me and Howard Lunatic are going to make it the second biggest ever.
Yeah,
Shout out to Howard Lunatic. There he is.
Take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much, and I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more.
More. Man, that does not get old.
No, the thing is, the thing that gets me going.
Is he live right now?
Is he live?
He's doing it. Is that live?
Doing it live.
Yeah, he's live, baby. President Trump holds cabinet meeting.
Okay, everybody.
We got Pete Hegseth on the left and Marco Rubio on the right. They're doing it live. Watch out. Market movements could be incoming. Donald Trump holding a cabinet meeting at the White House right now. Shout out to him. We'll see exactly what comes of this. He's obviously shown his propensity to throw curveballs during these meetings. So we've got that covered. Adara's watching it. We've got it on here. So keep your eye out on this, guys. Lots and lots of movement today in the market. It wasn't just yesterday. We're doing this every day. And I have a feeling, I don't know. I mean, you never really know how this stuff works. But I have a feeling this is going to be 4 years of this stuff. 4 years.
No, I don't want to hear.
Well, it could be 8
years.
It could be 8
years. That is
Who knows what happens down there?
There's zero chance. There's absolutely zero chance of him. If he goes for that third term, there's zero chance.
Yeah.
I'll say it right now. There's zero chance that guy is winning, especially of what. See, this is what frustrates me, is that he comes out and he says, the NASDAQ, the stock market had its biggest day ever, minus the fact that it's down 20% off of those all-time highs. Some stocks are hitting SSR. Everything is just absolutely burning around him, and you put in one solid session and you're like, victory. No, there is no victory here just yet. And I like what Sharif was reading earlier off of those points. What is going on with these tariffs? And I mentioned this earlier. It's starting to make other countries form alliances.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what we're seeing here with the EU and China. They're like, see you later. We don't really care what you going on. Keep tariffing us. We'll just import and export from other partners where they're not going to tax us a bunch of money, and then we can create new trade partners. So I don't know. Is this a good bargaining tool? How's it been going? And I know we're just kind of looking at everything from a micro perspective, but at the same time, you almost have to, because look what it's been doing to the overall markets. I don't think there's a single soul that is bullish that is happy right now, to be honest.
No, it's not. I mean, I would completely agree with you. I think that maybe, well, let me kind of caveat that a little bit.
All right.
So I was talking to my old man yesterday, and you know, he tends to think what my mom thinks.
Yeah, all right. There.
Okay,
That's all right.
let's put it like that.
All right.
Yeah. Hope he's not watching right now.
That's all right.
But the truth of the matter is, he's talking a lot of short-term stuff.
Yeah.
And I found myself telling him, I mean, we're not even in chapter 1 yet.
No,
We haven't even
that's the
finished
first
chapter
year.
1. This is the top of the first, bottom of the first. We're in the first inning. We're in the epilogue, says Fabian. Right? I mean, and that's what I was trying to tell him. I'm like, I'm not going to be that quick to judge the outcomes of what's happening so far. Sure, I'm not happy. The account got smoked
of course,
last week. Full disclosure, right? But the fact of the matter is, I don't think we can make the judgments quite yet based on short-term fluctuations in the market, albeit big fluctuations,
100%.
eye-watering fluctuations.
I think it's more or less the pace of. I mean, again, like if you want to break this down a little bit more, Sharif,
Yes, sir.
like I was thinking about this. Okay, the pace was kind of rapid, but was it at the same time? Like, let's pull up. So here we go. Apple peaked in December, right? So we've been essentially selling for how many months now, right? We're in April, right? So we peaked in December. Right, so there you go. That's 5 months right there that we've been moving on the downside. NVDA peaked before that as well too. Look where NVDA peaked. In January. So again, we've been doing this for about 5 months now at this point. So it's like what's going on? It hasn't happened so rapidly, but there it is. 5 months of absolutely complete selling there.
Absolutely. Fabian is cracking a joke. We're keeping an eye here. There he is. We're keeping an eye here on Donald. I've got that on my screen right now. So we're keeping an eye on everything. I've got the closed captions on, so we'll be able to see exactly what's going on there, guys. So we just want to keep you apprised that we will be keeping an eye on this. Any major developments, we'll be sending you to Adair, as we will be right now.
Just going to remind you guys one more time, 30-year bond auction coming through in about 5 minutes. I will let you guys know both in the chat and verbally once we get the number. Sometimes it does take a couple minutes to populate, but 30-year bond auction on watch. We know that 10-year bond auction yesterday was really huge, very hotly anticipated, so I will let you know when we get that coming through. I'm still listening to Donald Trump's cabinet meeting. Nothing super market moving, has been said as of yet, beyond the fact that Donald Trump did praise yesterday's stock market performance, and he said that the transition will take time, but in the end, it will be a beautiful thing. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adair. Joseph, you got anything?
Yeah, there's actually one more statistic. Unfortunately, I don't have the chart on me, but it's just essentially a pie chart. Yeah, how ironic. A pie chart of how many Americans, or whatever chart it may be, of how many Americans over the past years actually own equity within the markets. And it's rapidly growing. So now we're at around like 60% plus, Sharif, of Americans that now own any form of stock or have their money in American financial stock markets. So that number has drastically grew, and I guarantee you that a lot of these individuals are not very happy right now.
Absolutely, Fabian. We will do the work sport ad read. Are we doing it now? Okay, no problem. Okay, keeping an eye here, still on Apple, still interested in a possible short, but not jumping into anything too quickly. Sadie B, Sharif, let's even things out a bit. Every time the market tanks, you should play a clip of Kamala laughing. Katina, man, be nice. That's a good one. Sadie, you're brilliant. We have the best production team around. Andre, Kamala, laughing. Kamala laughing, right? Like, shout out to Sadie. Thank you for the idea. No, we'll let the production team do their thing. They're already inundated with quite a few jobs. Sorry, Fabian? Oh, work sport. Okay, absolutely. Say less, my man. I'm ready to go. So Worksport, guys, introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ Worksport under ticker WKSP. Worksport is a U.S.-based manufacturer and rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP. Discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. Adara.
Donald Trump saying that they may be buying, quote, top-of-the-line chips from other countries. So we've heard a lot of talk about different chip tariffs and chip production in the U.S. Right now, apparently, Trump's saying they might actually be buying or have to buy chips from other countries as of right now. So unclear what this means for his emphasis on U.S. production, specifically that pretty intense, I guess, financing here that we had going on for TSM. But apparently, they might have to buy chips from other countries. Back to you.
Anonymous name. I told you, I warned you yesterday, bro. See ya. So he's gone. Who else we got over here? We got Joseph, Tez, Sharif. What will the markets do tomorrow, namely NVIDIA? Do you know, Joseph?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, what will they do tomorrow? Tez, not to crack jokes or anything. If we knew, then it's it. Like, you throw the mortgage, you liquidate everything possibly, and you just slap it on that if we knew. And that's exactly what I would do. Yeah, it'd be so YOLO, it's not even funny, Fabian. Like, I would try to YOLO absolutely everything I had, and unfortunately I don't know what's gonna happen, so I can't do that. So just gotta play the price action by ear, see what the charts are telling you, see what the tape is telling you, and take it from that. I've been sitting in this Tesla grind here for a little bit now. I didn't get the entry that I necessarily like. Got stopped out of on IBIT, totally fine. We just continued to grind higher. Hopefully Tesla can start to recover here and crack through some of these highs. I think that's going to be really important. We'll look to take some off once we have the ability to break through here, Sharif, and I'm going to take the majority of it off too.
Absolutely, Joseph. All right, I'm not getting in any trades right now. I don't like the look of the market. I don't have a good read as to what's happening. It looks like, you know, we're doing that, what's it called, umbrella pattern, a kind of a bear flag that Adara used to call the umbrella pattern. I don't know why I can't speak. But this is kind of a sideways move here. This is the look on Apple. We have about a 188.5 high. What's keeping me out of the short right now on Apple are these umpteen amount of highs, despite the fact, you know, that this does look like a bear flag to the downside. So I'm a little bit, I'm lacking a clear read on the market. As a result, I'm going to stay, you know, clear of any trades. Adira.
As we wait here for the 30-year bond auction results, I want to mention, too, there were just some comments here about Donald Trump saying they might be buying chips from other countries. I had heard chips. Chips was circulating in the media. Apparently actually said ships. I went back and listened. So Donald Trump saying that the U.S. might be buying ships from other countries. So keep an eye on that. Just wanted to mention that from earlier. No chips, but apparently ships. Back to you.
My guy Nedrek is back here. Joe W, I'm from America. From here, only 2% don't like Trump. The majority are head over heels for him. Good with watermelon. Everyone on the trading floor here had one of the hugest days. There you go. From our guy Nedrek.
Nedrek. Okay,
Yeah,
I like it.
Well, it's actually REDNEC. He changed it up there.
All right. Yeah. So I don't have anything right now, as I mentioned, guys.
Okay,
Something's happening. Okay. So it looks like we reversed over here. A big pop up on the market. Monster pop right now, guys. Watch out. It is likely the auction. Adara, tell us what happened.
So we came in here at 4.813% for the 30-year bond high yield versus 4.623% previous. So a little bit higher here than the previous print. For the yield, prior to the auction, it was 4.839%. So 4.813 is what we got. Right before the auction, it was 4.839. And now we have the little pop in the market as the Trump cabinet meeting continues. Back to you.
Here we go. Finally, Finally, here you guys go get something rolling here on TSLL. Working in that one. So we took it off right there at 80.25 or 8.25s there on TSLL using that 2x leverage. Let's see if we can climb into VWAP here, Sharif. A nice pop, the volume supporting it. That's exactly what we need to see here. Can we start to slowly recover here on the day? I think so. It's looking like it, Sharif.
All right, just keeping my eye on the futures, keeping my eye on the NQ, and I've also kept my eye on the cabinet meeting that's still taking place right now. Nothing really doing right now. Donald Trump's just he's speaking to his cabinet members, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Any news items that move the market, we'll be the first to report to you guys. But it feels like a short to pop. I was just about to mention it kind of situation. As soon as the market popped up, the Katina Man short to pop, and Apple went right into the volume weighted average price at 190 and dropped a quick $2, quick as you like, right down into the low. Still putting in higher lows. What I'm waiting for is a lower low, a break of this higher low trend, and proof that this is a dead cat bounce, and then I'll look to get short. Got to keep my eye out on my risk today because I've taken a bunch of hits, so I don't want to get shut down, and keep the trade live on the show. So we're going to keep that very, very tight right now. So if it's not a perfect A+ setup, I sadly will not be jumping into the trade. Currently, though, keeping my eye on the higher low situation, especially with this latest spike up, and keeping my eye, obviously, on the 10-year. Because, well, that's been all the focus lately, Joseph. So we've got the cabinet meeting currently on. We just had the bond auction, which was, well received there. And we've got, obviously, that big day from yesterday as well as the tariffs. So keep your eye out. Lots of market volatility, but we're here to cover all of it for you.
Exactly. That's exactly what we're going to do. You can see that on the cues and the spot with the likes of NVDA as well, too, joining that party where they run right into the volume-weighted average price and then reject it. Katina Man to the right of us said fade those pops, and you get that move to the downside. So there you go.
He shorted 189.
He shorted 189
on Apple.
On Apple. So there you go. We'll pull up Apple and take a look at it. Sharif was trading this earlier as well, too, guys. AAPL shorted 189. Did it run into VWAP like the rest of them? Yep. And then rejected it right away. So there you go. If Apple decides that it wants to move to the sell side, best believe it's going to drag the overall market with it. Same with the likes of NVDA and some of these big names. So, guys, you got to follow it. If you're trading the Qs or the futures and you're not keeping your eye on some of these mags, then, again, you can run yourself into some trouble. So keep an eye up to what those big names are up to. Sorry for your loss. We will recover. I can tell you're allowing gazelles for dinner. Yeah, no, thank you very much, man. That was yesterday, but it is what it is, right? So you just continue to move forward. You can't dwell on the past whatsoever because that'll get you nowhere. And no one likes to get their boots dirty, so no need to dig up old dirt, right? So there we go. TSLL starting to pop. We're coming back into those levels. There you go, Katina Man. Some nice indecision candles right there at the volume-weighted average price, rejecting it heavily, guys. So coming right in. The fact that it's just short the pops, right? And there you go. You can tell by just the overall sentiment of this current market environment, guys. So yeah, nice work there, Katina Man. Amazon actually holding up relatively well, but again, just ran right into the indicator and came right back down. So hopefully this isn't another short, and then we take another leg over. I'm starting to think that, like, hey, we might turtle shell and then possibly test the lows of days. So, because for me, it's these candles that aren't saying we're ready to completely do a 180 and go back towards some of these pre-market levels. So again, a slow grind. Let's see what the VIX is up to here today, guys, because I know it must have absolutely spiked this morning. And I honestly wasn't looking at it too much because, wow, a high of 57. Yeah, wow, that's some crazy stuff there on the VIX. And again, I was just displaying this stuff to Sharif. So the last time that the VIX has spiked up to this high, that was going to be the yen carry trade right here. And then you have to go back a couple years to see when we were kind of at those previous levels. So 65 was the high. We're not even relatively close to it all the way back here. So we have to go all the way, wow. And that's going to be COVID. Like, these are COVID levels. So in between COVID and here and that yen carry, we haven't seen the VIX spike that high. So that's pretty unusual, right? And then within a span of a couple of months, we get that spike again. So not necessarily, I'm not going to call these black swan events if they're continuously happening in a span of a couple months. So there you go, 50 there. And if you go back to so it'll be between 2018 and 2020. So a 2-year gap between us seeing a spike like that in the VIX, and then now we've seen one in a matter of like 7 months. So yeah. That's what it is. That's what the volatility is. And as soon as Donald came into office, Sharif said, guys, if you haven't traded what it was like before, just be prepared for volatility. And if you could have bet on that, will the markets be absolutely insane and the volatility increase, then that would have been a nice home run bet there in the overall market, because the volatility has not been short whatsoever. Respect 100%. Thank you. Mission passed. So yeah. Let's hold on to this Tesla trade here. If we can pull up my chart real quick, let's see if we can break through and start to recover on the day.
Good trade, Joseph.
Yeah, we're still holding on to the majority of it there, Sharif. Looking for around 850 to get fully out of there, but we'll piece them out on the way up and see if we can get up there.
Attaboy, man. All right, guys, here is the deal. Keeping my eye on... well, I'm obviously keeping my eye on the overall market, keeping my eye on Apple, but there was also an IPO that we were trading earlier that kind of calmed down a little bit, and it's not really the hype that we all thought it would be. IOTR is the ticker. It's down, looks like here, about 2.75%. This one did move up into that $4 area and then kind of rejected. We had a couple of trades on this one. It lost VWAP, and now it's kind of been using VWAP as resistance. I'm talking about that 3.75 level area. I don't know what's going on with my monitor. It's flickering to no end. That area has been a level of resistance while previously acting as support. That's volume weighted average price on the ticker IOTR. Keeping my eye on that. I had several trades on CXAI, but this one has become very consolidative at the volume weighted average price, and the volume has all but ceased. It's really dropped off a cliff. So we'll keep tabs on that. LABD is setting up, though. I mean, the fact that it kind of just bounced off VWAP and put in a hammer candle, followed by a new candle make a 5-minute high. So this looks like a good trade here. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on LABD. I can manage risk on this one a little bit better, and we can size in to the position, and it's been quite directional. I'm talking about LABD. This one was a good mover yesterday, then it really lost the bid when the market started moving to the high side. In case you're wondering what LABD is, it is an inverse ETF for the biotech sector. So when biotech goes up, it goes down and vice versa. So I traded it yesterday. I can keep an eye out on it again. How are we doing here on the overall market? It looks like we are headed right back down, Joseph. So we're going to look to get a little bit short over here, take very small size so that we can manage risk. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just continuing hitting the dollar club. That was on me. So yeah, he said just fade these pops. It looks like I'm going to get stopped out at that break-even level here as we start to come in and give back the majority of the move. So yeah, it is what it is. You're not going to get those continuations right now. $3 from Apple just 5 minutes ago. There you go. Nice work, Sean.
Good job, Sean.
Yeah, there you go, Sean. So again, nice bounce here.
Position?
Or actually, not bounce. Actually, sorry. We're continuing to bleed. Even in Robinhood, I had a trade idea built on this one. We were trading it earlier in the day, and I truly did think that we were going to continue in some of the strength, especially when you put in a 23% day, and then the following day you put in a big negative one. But Sharif read those stats for you there, guys. So that's why you're not getting any follow through right now. Really, really weak sentiment. But again, with that 90-day pause, I thought we would get some more strength here. Signal, I'm just waiting for Adara. I think there's some news for the call for Adara to go in my ear, and we will send it off to her.
Here's the NASDAQ. We still have this cabinet meeting going on right now. One comment that was made, I'm just going to kind of recap some comments that were made. Nothing super market moving, but things to be aware of. We had Scott Bessent, who is the U.S. Treasury Secretary, saying that apparently the U.S. and Vietnam are going to be beginning formal reciprocal trade talks. Both Lutnick and Bessent did talk here about how they're going to be meeting a lot of countries, but Lutnick saying it's going to be really hard to meet all of these countries at one time because there's so many that are trying to talk to them. So trade talks in the works, it looks like here, between the U.S. and some of these other countries. Again, no word on China here. We know that apparently the White House confirmed to CNBC that now it's about 125% tariffs there on China. After that, pretty large increase there. I believe over now 125%. I'm just going to clarify that with regards to the 145% tariffs on China after all of them. I just wanted to re-clarify that. So White House, this is a while ago, but we still have no comments right now on China here. Keep an eye on this meeting. Keep an eye on the SPX. We know if we hit 7% to the downside on the SPX, that's the qualification there for a halt. So be aware of that. Back to you.
We shorted Apple at 118.25, added to the short at 50s.
Dang.
It's moving right back into. I'm trying to add because I can't take aggressive positions unless I add because, well, the risk is a little bit damaged today. So if this one pops up above 75 pennies, we're gonna flatten out on this one. But I already took some profits here. Joseph, what are you looking at?
Same thing. So this was IBIT. We came back right into my entry. So again, getting out right around the top, which is unfortunate, but then it just comes right back. But it's holding up relatively strong. I mean, it's not bleeding like the rest of some underlyings. I just got a TSLA as well too, because we came back into my break even. If we're gonna continue to move to the top side, then I'll just have the ability to get right back in. So there you go. You're getting that short to come in there, Sharif. What do you got cooking up there?
Yeah, there we go. So we just took the short again on. I'm happy with this trade here. Give me a little bit more room with which to breathe on Apple. So this one did like a rounded top, and it was preceded by a topping tail candle. So you got everything you wanted there. If you're looking short, you got the topping tail candle, and then you got the subsequent candle to make a new low, red candle to make a new low. Get it, Katina, man. So we're gonna. I'm sorry, 1 second, Fabian. 187 was the breakdown of that candle. So that green candle right there at 1 o'clock, the topping tail candle. The new low comes vis-a-vis the 187 break, and then I added on the second candle to make a new low, which was around that 185.50. So I'm gonna keep my eye on Apple. Lots of weakness. Fabian, are we reading an ad? Oh, okay. My bad. Yes, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fabian. I just it wasn't showing the Apple short, which is why I kind of said, yeah, that's the situation there. It was showing CXAI, but not Apple.
Okay.
But it's now correct. Thank you, Joseph. How's that trade on your side going?
The Tesla, yeah. So we're out of it now. It looks like we're gonna head to the south side. Excuse me there, guys. Let's pull up the cues here because we're heading right back towards those lows. And with this momentum coming in, we might crack it and head lower. So watch out, guys. That 7% to the downside might come into play. So, yeah, we got to keep an eye out on SPY as well because that is what is essentially we need to be tracking. Again, momentum, you just reject the VWAP so aggressively and then just head right back towards these lows. Now down 6 1/3 here in SPY, heading right back to where we were about an hour or so ago. Let's see if this market holds up. The volume is really starting to pick up. So again, that's really important to note. Are we going to bounce off of this? What is the options chain telling us?
What is it?
From just like potential ranges. Again, like everything is so expensive just due to the volatility. Yeah. Okay. So 515, there was 46,000 open contracts, but we're way past that now. Now trading at 513.77. Oh wow. 510 has 68,000 open contracts. That's huge for an open interest on the SPY during this this week's expiration cycle that is there, guys. So are we going to run into this level? It may look like it. We still have about over 2 hours, 3 hours and 2 hours and 45 minutes left in today's session, and then we got all day tomorrow. Can 510 be in the work streak? It's looking like it, especially if we want to just give back all of those gains that we had yesterday. And I mentioned it being an inside day today. We're getting exactly that. But if we open up and gap down, then 510 may be in the works here for SPY.
Absolutely. Yeah, what a day it has been today, guys. A big move yesterday, another big move today, both in counter directions. Let's have a look at where what we're doing here on the daily on the futures. How much of yesterday's move did we give back? Let's have a look. So this is the daily chart on the NQ. So we kind of double top with that same kind of 19,400 level-ish being the top yesterday, being the top today, but a distinct higher low, despite the fact that that red candle is quite ugly. How much of it did we give back? Let me move these pivot points out of here so we can get a better look at what the deal is. And then let's throw in our favorite Fibonacci sequence. So we're going to go ahead and drag that from yesterday's high and then drag it all the way up into the top. So how much did we give back? Well, we're not even 2/3 of the way back, guys. We haven't even got to that 50. Yeah, we're still decent over here. No, excuse me, I did that wrong. Let's do it again. Remove all fibs. Let's do this again here with the fibs. So here we go, right down to that top. So where's that 100% area? There it is. Okay. So how much have we given back? Yes, the low today, 18,000 is essentially the 50% retracement using fibs based on yesterday's price action. Adara, what's the breaking news?
We have some talk here about Chinese EVs continuing here. We did have the EU. We had reports here that the EU is talking to China about tariffs, specifically on Chinese EVs. Now, spokesperson here for the European Commission has confirmed that the EU trade chief and the Chinese commerce minister have agreed to look into setting minimum prices instead of duties for Chinese-made EV imports. So specifically here for EV imports, apparently the EU trade chief and the Chinese commerce minister have agreed to look into setting minimum prices instead of duties. Again, this is not for all of the trade, but specifically for Chinese EVs. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. You guys are jokes in the chat. The Finabachis, you guys stop fitting. Someone said, yeah, that's going to be really interesting because we saw kind of a convergence between the Americans and the Europeans when it came specifically to Chinese electric vehicles. They were both of the opinion that the subsidies that the Chinese government was giving its EV sector were illegal under, international norms, WTO rules, whatever the hell you want to reference, okay? And then all of a sudden, there is this shift. Well, how come? Well, because the relationships changed, I think, fundamentally between the United States and Europe. As it seems like for now, we don't know what the negotiations are going to end up bringing. But it looks as if, the friend of my, the enemy of my friend, or what is it? How does that saying go again? The enemy of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Yeah, that makes logical sense, obviously. So we'll have to see how that all kind of pans out there. But interesting look by Europe to want to diversify their look with respect to Chinese EVs. But they have an entire industry, I would submit to you guys, that they need to protect. The European auto industry, one of the obvious strongest in the world. We all know that. So the fact that they're giving the Chinese a little bit of concessions with respect to EVs is a little bit surprising to me because I figured they'd have just as much to lose as North American automakers. So super interesting there. Jay Lee, TQQQ closed at 52.61. It's now down 10 basically. Shout out to you, my man. A good look there. James Dell, you're killing me, bro. Let me just make sure I can read your, just remember. Yeah, well, okay, I see what you're saying there, James, but we're talking about cars, not COVID there, but your point well taken. I'm keeping my eye on this higher low, guys, that we're putting in on the futures and on the Mag 7 in general. As you can see, each and every Mag 7 name, this little drop that we've got here, the drop between, let's say, 110 and 115, higher than the drop we had earlier. So we're getting higher lows, but still well below the volume weighted average price on all 7 Mag 7 names, including the futures. With some of them being able to retrace into VWAP on the auctions pop, but down again we go, but most notably with higher lows. Still keeping my eye on Apple. If we get a decided break of 185, I'm going to go short again. But there seems to be a double bottom on Apple at around 185 with the current 5-minute candle with a higher low. So I don't want to be quick to go short, but I am still looking. I'm still more short inclined at the moment when it comes to these Mag 7 names. Just need the right entry because I am low on risk today. So I definitely have to make sure that the trades I enter are A+ setups. Amy, they are making, let me just read that. They are making a statement they'd rather deal with China than the bumbling U.S. idiots. Shout out to Amy. You're going to win a lot of friends in the chat there, Amy. They're all going to love you there. Not too many Americans in the chat, of course. I'm being facetious. Vanny, Sharif, can you please explain the circuit breaker shutdown and when that could be in play? Is it minus 7% on the NASDAQ, the magic number? That's my understanding. Excuse me, Fabian? Ad read. Okay, so I'll answer your question in a second, but we got to pay a bill.
All right, Apple, let's go. In sports playing, flexibility is everything. At ProfitX, you can see the order book just like the financial exchange. Pick your spot and customize the odds to fit your risk. Why settle for a single offered price when you can set your own? Plus, our own mobile interface makes it easy to play on the go. ProfitX, where you can call the shots anytime, anywhere. Users can use code TraderTV to get our sign-up offer of 2% cash back on up to $300 there.
Thank you.
There you go.
So great question, Vanny. So here's the deal. The ES, which is the S&P 500, the futures version of the S&P 500, has to go -7. And then we will get a halt on the NASDAQ, okay? Just want to make that very clear. I was under the impression before this all happened, seeing as I've never experienced one of these live, that it was the NASDAQ that had to go -7, which we already got, and we did not halt. So it was, and Thankfully, the Katina man was able to apprise me of that before it happened. So we did kind of mention that to you guys before we hit the 7 on the NQ, but we've been below 7 already. And it was the ES June contract, which is currently trading at 51.92, that has to hit 7%. I think it got as low as 6 and change. I'm not sure exactly how low it got there, but it's about 5.4%, 5.3% right now in Negativesville. I'm going to vote for Amazon. The new poll just came out. I'm going to vote for Amazon because they've got the tariff headwind. I mean, like, let's be honest. Apple's got a tariff headwind. So does Tesla. But I feel like Amazon probably brings a lot of their products from China. I mean, isn't that the case?
Well, I mean, Sharif, if you want to talk a little bit about the Zonian here.
Sir, the Zonian, where's he at? He's got his headphones on, so he doesn't know what's going on. Obi, Amazonian? Yeah.
You want to talk about a slacking here, 33% from the peak to that bottom here. So there you go, 33% haircut on Amazon. Definitely getting a beating from there. Yeah, we see all the eagles and the American flags in there. Very patriotic bunch. We love that. Let's see if we can get the ball rolling here on IBIT. I do like it for a potential long, considering that we have been holding up relatively strong compared to everything else. So if the market decides that it wants to get the ball rolling, then hey, this could be a good entry zone. You can see that we're constructing those higher lows. Another positive signal. If you crack it to the downside, then thesis invalid. You want to wait for a pullback. I'm sure that's going to be to come, but that's the name of the game. We can also stick with some names that have been working for us. That's been Tesla. You can see that we're constructing that higher low as well too. As we're starting to climb higher, I'm going to get involved in this Tesla trade here, Sharif.
Okay, so I'm just going to mention something that I'm going to throw back to you.
Okay.
Here it is. So it is, according to ChatGPT, it's the SPX, not the ES.
Okay.
The SPX is the index, okay? Not the SPY, the SPX. So this one, okay, which is the S&P 500 index. If you just type in SPX, where it is, there it is, index. So this exchange over here, this is the one that has to drop below 7%, okay? And trading halts for around 5 minutes. So what I asked it, I'm like, is it the ES that has to hit -7 or the SPX for the market to halt? I said, great question. Again, it gave me the wrong answer yesterday, so be careful, make sure to double check this. The circuit breaker halts in the US equities markets are triggered based on the S&P 500 index, the SPX, not the ES futures or the E-mini futures. So level 1 halt. Trading halts for 15 minutes, triggered only once per day before 325. There's also a level 2 halt, another 15-minute halt if it drops further. Also has to be before 325 Eastern. Then there's a level 3 halt if the S&P or the SPX again is down 20%. Trading stops for the rest of the day regardless of the time. So there is the answer to your question right there. Make sure you're double checking this again because ChatGPT gave me the wrong answer yesterday with respect to the worst day or the best day, excuse me, on these markets. Randy, you want to grab that mic? I have stuff to talk to you about. Oh, there you go. Nice. There you go. Even better.
Even better.
Because the Europeans are starting to speak to the Chinese about removing some of these tariffs on Chinese EVs. So like the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So to speak. Yeah, oh boy is right, Randy. So we want to get your take, baby.
Yeah, what does that mean? Because Tesla EV sales have been on the rapid decline in the EU. So what is that going to do for the likes of some of these Chinese?
Well, that's going to be fantastic.
Right?
So, yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah, for them.
Hi, Randy. How's that sandwich, by the way? Because the food from the new caterer looks just freaking-tastic.
I've only had one bite.
You see all the desserts back there?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. When did we get desserts for lunch? That was always a
I don't eat dessert, but
they're nice to look at. Is that pastrami? What do you got there, baby?
yeah,
Yeah?
Montreal smoked meat. I don't know.
Montreal. Well, that's what Sean said because he gets the email. So, Randy,
Yeah.
we heard the Americans complain that the Chinese were subsidizing their EV sector, what they said was illegally. The Europeans had the same complaint. They said, you guys are building out the infrastructure for them, you're refining the raw materials, you're doing everything that the private market, the business market should be doing. So how bad is it now between the Americans and the Europeans that the Europeans would look for the Chinese?
Let's back up a little bit.
Go.
China is not the only country that's helping their own state-owned and not state-owned,
Agree 100%.
semi-privately owned car companies.
Canada
Here
does.
in Canada,
Yep.
we do the same. okay?
Absolutely.
We've invested in our car companies, in our suppliers,
Exactly.
in the workforce, and,
Northvolt.
and in the resource sectors that are supplying these products and the companies that make them.
Yes. Agree 100% so far.
So the retaliatory tariffs, it's kind of going both ways. I don't necessarily agree with it, okay? And the Europeans can complain all they want.
I agree.
But the auto industry is a global, very global industry. So you've got resources that some countries have, some don't.
Exactly.
You've got cheaper labor in countries like China
Exactly.
that we don't.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you're
Environmental
producing
regulations.
environmental regulations.
Yeah.
You're also producing products globally that may not sell globally. They may sell more in one country, but not others.
Fair.
Like large, huge Hummers. How many of those are you going to see in Europe?
Yeah,
Not
none.
that many.
They don't even like them legal there. They think they're dangerous. For
Right.
them.
So because you've got some car companies, the Europeans, for example, with a global portfolio, your BMWs, your Volkswagens.
Yep.
You also have other companies that have a global portfolio, but the models don't sell everywhere.
Fair.
So you've got to be able to discern. That's a good sandwich.
Yeah.
You got to be able to discern not only where you're selling your products, where you're producing the products,
I'll put your sandwich.
but you're caught. There we go. This guy.
There you go. You're getting first class service from Katina Man over
The
here.
segment is called Keeping It Real with Randy.
Keeping it real with Randy. Mark that down, boys. We got a new segment now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you can't sell your Hummer in Norway, for example, but you want to produce it in the U.S.,
Yeah.
if you're going to produce cars in China with cheaper labor and be able to make more money, okay, I'll go into Europe.
Okay.
I'll build my plant in Europe. I will employ a local labor force.
Okay.
But use my natural resources.
Agree.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Now you're
this
talking
is where
about.
the globalization comes
I see
in.
what you're saying.
So the tariffs in this case are in my opinion, destructive. Okay, it's counterintuitive because you reduce the globalization of the company producing the products and where they sell them.
Let me ask you a question. Can we create these trading blocks where, like, say, for example, I know a lot of the raw materials for cobalt lithium that comes from China, and they wanted to put an export ban on that to the United States as part of the tariff negotiations. Say Sudbury, and we get our act together in Canada, and we start extracting the lithium and the cobalt from Sudbury that we're supposed to be extracting, that we still haven't, by the way. Then can we have like a secure supply chain from certain friendlier countries, tariff-friendly countries, and then kind of strong arm our way with some others? You know what I mean?
You can, but it's also supply and demand.
Yeah, fair.
So
Fair.
we need to develop our supply, number one. We need to get it in circulation and make it. We don't have it developed as it could be. And there are other nations that already have that. You know, there's mines in South Africa
Yeah.
and elsewhere. So if we want to compete with them, there's a cost to compete, number one. That cost, labor cost, the actual cost to get the resources out of the ground and get them into EVs and other products, what does that cost?
Well, exactly.
And does it cost
Good
more
point.
here than it does over there?
It does.
So you've got to weigh that cost and look at the globalization of the resources that go into the products that you want to sell, and then where are you going to sell them? And who's going to produce them and at what cost? So labor has typically been cheaper outside North America.
Yeah,
But
of course, yeah.
resources, not necessarily. Resources are a global.
But the extraction, but you know how it is with the
True.
environment and the environmental impact assessments. You got to pay people more. It's like a whole thing, right? Like, what's going on? Okay, I was like, what's happening over there?
So-
I just found it to be interesting. Like, I didn't think that the Europeans would become closer with the Chinese as a result of the antagonism from the Americans. I just didn't think that would be the case.
They're being protective of the European auto industry, and I get that. There's hundreds of thousands employed all over Europe in the auto sector. It's actually almost bigger than it is here in the U.S.
I bet.
There's a huge number of car companies
Of course,
over there.
dude. Like,
Huge population. So do you not want to protect that industry? Of course
they
you
do. They 100%
But at the same
do.
time, global competition is what it is. Only the best are going to survive.
So
So
it's
I do
fair to
find it-
say that
Only
you're.
the cheapest are going to survive, I think.
Say that again, Joseph?
Only the cheapest
Yeah.
will survive, I think.
No, not necessarily.
So to be fair, so you're kind of the
Why-
globalist a little bit, right? And when it comes to the car sector.
If you are Toyota or Volkswagen
Yeah.
or Tesla and you want to survive globally and sell your cars everywhere on the planet, you have to take on a macroeconomic global lens.
That's fair.
You've got to be able to source and produce and employ worldwide.
Fair.
And again, some models won't sell in some countries, some will. But you have to step back and look at the bigger picture. I think that's key. And then this is where, again, I find the tariffs to be counterintuitive. Global trade has always been a thing. Yes, there's higher and lower costs and resources and
But it's been a thing
labor.
from the 50s,
It has.
dude. Like when North America, when the United States and Canada signed that deal with Eisenhower to have a lot of the components built in Southern Ontario mostly and sent to the States. And that was way before NAFTA. Way before NAFTA was even conceived. So that's existed for a long time to build on your point.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, well, interesting.
So I think it's counterintuitive.
I feel it. Thanks for coming on.
No worries.
Oh. And giving us your opinion.
Enjoy the sandy there, brother.
Yeah, man, it looks like a hell of a sandwich there, brother.
Enjoy the sandy.
All right, guys, you got it from the man himself, Randy, a midday version of Randy's rants. Or I don't know what the Katina man called it. He called it something over there. Yeah, keeping it real with Randy. And now we're going to keep it real with Adara.
With Ribby and Randy.
Thank you for that transition there, Sharif. And thank you to Randy. We have some comments coming out here. Apparently, there were some conversations between the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, and the President of the European Commission, von der Leyen. Apparently, they discussed the imposition of tariffs, and they both said they welcome enhancing the Canada and Europe defense against these tariffs. They also apparently talked about the further risk of U.S. action. So some tariff talk specifically on the defensive side and defending themselves from further action coming through here from Mark Carney and the President of the European Commission. Excuse me, back to you.
Yeah, if we can pull up my chart here. So we got back in on that long here on TSLL, starting to get that pop here in the market. Still holding on to the majority of this position. Let's see if we can go and tap into around $8.20. That's kind of going to be the rough area that I'm going to be looking at. That will be a new failed high, so a lower high right here, guys, if we can get into 820. And if you can see that momentum and the volume really start to step in, then maybe we'll be able to breach that. But I think it's going to be more of a slow grind here today, Sharif, because we are still down a little bit, under 10% on Tesla itself. So not too good of a look on Tesla. IBIT's holding up relatively well. I was looking to trade that to the short side earlier, but it's just not breaking down. So again, for Bitcoin in the crypto space, that's a positive no. SPY and Q's relatively just moving sideways from that bottoming signal that we had earlier in the day. So just trading within this 509 range, 522. Like, that's actually insane.
What?
The how much the average true range has expanded, Sharif. Because the low here is 509 and the high being 525. So that's like 16 points just right there. You never see that in just lower volatility markets here on the SPY. Lower volatility markets, you're lucky to get a 3-4 point move, but here, the market's just moving with a high of 534 all the way down to 509. So yeah, you can see the VIX was elevated slightly this morning, and the average true range in these names just gone through the roof, and that's why I got gammaed yesterday, is because you just seen that vastly pick up here. So we'll wait and see what's going on. Let's get this going here. I do believe that we can. I believe that we can break through some of these zones and head towards here. But again, the overall sentiment is so weak that it's just like fade the pop, and then you get this move all the way back here. You end up breaking through this support level and then making a new low. But one thing that got me back in this long is the construction of this higher low. That's a positive note. Let's see if we can get pumped through 805 to 810 there. Sharif, what's going on?
New traders, listen up. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees. Trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite experience. You'll be able to analyze, strategize, and then hopefully after all that, you'll capitalize on their platform that has everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. Yeah, and you can predict better with their great backtesting tool. Reliable real-time data, global markets literally at your fingertips. Of course, you got to use a keyboard. All in one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready. Elevate your trading. Scan that QR code or click the link in the description. Shout out to the great folks at eSignal. And if you haven't seen it already, I've been using eSignal for a minute. The Katina man's been using it for a century, and Adara has it up on the big desk there. I've been seeing it. She's got the white she's got the white settings. I've got the black ones over here, but they're all very robust. And if you haven't used a good platform, eSignal is one of those ones. Adara, the market's moving again. What's happening?
Yeah, we have some talks here coming from, now I guess it's the question part of Q&A part of this cabinet meeting. Donald Trump was asked about the stock market's move today. When asked if he's seen the drop, he said, quote, "I haven't seen it. I've been in a meeting for the last however many hours." Then also it's worth noting that Scott Bessent, he basically pushed the question about tariffs to Scott Bessent, who is the Treasury Secretary. And Scott Bessent said they will have great certainty on tariffs in 90 days. Trump also continued to say that he would love to get a deal with China. So some tariff talk and talk about the stock market coming through from Trump and his cabinet at the Q&A portion of this meeting. And back to you.
I just got an email from the condo board at my condo, obviously.
Yeah.
The dinosaurs that live in my condo have approved a one electric vehicle charging station.
Bang.
I'm buying a lottery ticket today, bro.
Oh my
I mean,
God.
oh my goodness.
So how do you guys find out who gets it there? Is it arm wrestle?
Yeah, or like our first come, first serve, I don't know, or maybe a sign-up sheet, some sort or another.
You got them beat on the foot race there too.
There's nobody with an EV in my condo.
All right.
What I want to see is like how much you're gonna add to the condo fee for that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Don't get me started. There's two things I hate the most. Two
condo
bills
fees?
I hate the most. Insurance and my condo fees. I get no equity from any of
You
them.
don't like insurance? I mean, it's not a bad thing, man. Come on, man. What do you give me that look? Everybody likes a little insurance here and there. No?
All right, let me show you how much I'm paying. Maybe we'll talk after that.
Hey, you drive the V8, not me. You know what I mean?
Dude, it's getting older. Why is my premium going up?
Yeah, but how do you? I would love to know how you drive. Actually,
I'm actually a grandma, and I've got the driving app. I told you I got the driving app.
Dude,
yeah,
so
I got the driving app.
Why isn't your insurance lower?
Because of the theft. They steal them. That's why. And the excellent politicians in Canada don't let anybody out on bail when they're supposed to be out on bail. Everybody is kept in order. There's no excessive crime. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea about this country. Everything is being run very well. So shout out to the
thing that frustrates me about condo fees is that there's essentially no cap. There's no cap.
Fabian leaves his car unlocked all the time. He has no issues.
Where do you live, Fabian?
I don't know, bro.
Right,
North York.
Jesus,
yeah, we both live in the same area, Fabian. So I don't know why my car.
Midtown.
Yeah.
Oh, Midtown. That's why they're not.
It doesn't matter, man. Doesn't matter. I don't want to be paying through the nose.
So they're just going past your car and looking
My
for the
grandma was a terrible driver.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Who said this? Nekoshe or whatever. My grandma was a terrible driver. Yeah. I was just let out for the 25th time. Thanks for paying my $3 bail. You're welcome, Jack W. Anything for the excellent societal contributors. No doubt about it. We are always willing to help you out. Don't worry. Don't worry. The revolving door is not going anywhere. You'll be able to commit crimes and then come back out. It's not going to be a problem. Take it easy.
Do they lift your condo fees each year, 5 or 10%?
Nah, we're at 3. We're at market
3?
rate.
Okay,
Yeah.
3%. It's crazy how there's no cap on them.
There's crime in Canada, says Dragos? Yeah, there is. Toronto's got about 6.5 million people that live in the GTA, the greater Toronto area. And so that's like basically like saying the size of Chicago, maybe a little bit smaller than Chicago, but basically kind of like a Chicago-style city, so you can get the idea there. Right? We have that kind of society. So.
Oh, I don't think the crime compares though to
Chicago. No, murder. They got next level gang.
We got
But we have a lot of crime.
We have a lot.
Substantial amount of crime. Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of crime.
A lot of white-collar crime as well, to be fair.
And 40%
there is
40% of it happens
fraud
on the TTC, so just watch out. Don't It doesn't, obviously. I'm just
Guys, we're moving a little bit back here on this market. It's by no means like with the same vigor that we were moving down, but you've got the likes of, Apple now knocking on the door twice of the volume weighted average price. You had an attempt over here, and now we're getting a second attempt. What's catching my attention, though, Joseph, is the higher lows. And that's what I look for trend change. We're getting umpteen amount of higher lows, still being kept down here by a lot of the resistance levels. You're seeing a very similar look on all the Mag 7 names. I mean, if I showed you these charts, you probably wouldn't be able to tell who was who just based on the look of the chart if I didn't have the ticker there, including the futures, which is on the top right corner. A lot of market, harmony today, where everything is kind of moving in very similar fashion. So we'll keep an eye out on that, but it does feel like the market maybe catching a bit of a dead cat bounce over here as Apple tries to work back into 189. The volume weighted average price just a skosh, Joseph, below that 190 area.
Yeah, so we just took some more off here on Tesla, starting to climb higher. Still have about 33% of this position remaining. We'll just slowly take it out, but working out to be somewhat of a nice trade. Normal special, yeah, there is definitely gun violence in Toronto and Canada. There's no question about
God,
that.
yeah, and all the guns come from the States.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of the guns, the illegal guns, come from
and how much, and the percentage of crimes committed with illegal guns is like 80-85%. So about 15% are legal guns.
So that's why we tell the rightful gun owners that they can't own guns.
Of course, Joseph, it makes sense. Don't question the government, Joseph.
And we give the guys who are just illegal a little slap on the wrist.
Neil's laugh.
So if you want to go about the right ways of doing things, you're better off almost doing it criminally because
I just spit, bro. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't care. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. There is primal passion. There's a lot as well. There's a lot of gangs. There's a lot of violence. But what is violent here?
What?
Going to the top side.
I'm telling you, Joseph. I smelt something over here, and it wasn't that sandwich that Randy brought. No, I mean
we're moving higher.
What an aggressive move.
There we go. We're continuing.
Yo, we're dropping aggressively. So, wow, Apple. Something's going on with Apple here, guys.
It's dropping.
This is an aggressive move. We just touched VWAP at 189.90. We dropped into 186, defended 186, and now we're back into 187.5. So there's a lot of aggressive movement right now on Apple, and I have no idea what's going on. If it's Apple specific or market specific, I'm not getting any information on my blotter here about Apple. So we'll keep an eye out on this. So guys, let me know if you guys see anything here with respect to Apple, but that was a $3 move, a very aggressive move there, but popping right back up. Adara has something for us. Go ahead, Adara.
Donald Trump said that he is not considering right now any exemptions for any country or company for tariffs. That seems to be what dropped Apple. We know Apple did get somewhat of an exemption during his last administration, Trump's last administration, for tariffs. But Donald Trump saying that they're very close to their first tariff deal. No countries or companies are going to be getting any exemptions at this time. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. Very important news there, obviously, because if an exemption for Apple is not in the works, it's not good for margins. It's not good for prices. Nope. It's not good for anything. And we've made the point before that Apple was able to secure an exemption in Trump 1.0, but it feels a little different this time. Trump 2.0 is not Trump 1.0. So we'll have to see whether or not they're able to weasel exemption. We have 3 topping tail candles on Apple, all into the volume weighted average price. Each and every one has rejected. There's 4 technically, but there's one that manifested at 1, 3 back to back over here, Joseph, all touching the volume weighted average price, all rejecting. But what I'm keeping my eye on was this candle here. I'm assuming that that's what that reaction was, that candle that touched essentially, Joseph, 189.67, dropped into 186, quick as you like, and has basically no body on the candle.
Okay.
So we'll see how this ends up going, but multiple rejections off the volume weighted average price. Go ahead.
Let's go here, Sharif. Hit the siren there. We got everything rolling here on Tesla, waiting for those pops, man. Those bottoming signals were absolutely beautiful. Let's go. We got my chart up. You guys can see what we had cooking up. I was about to take an IBIT long. Scratch that. I said, Joe, stick to what is working for you. And we took that second entry. Prime money entry here on TSLA, guys. Getting that move up. You can see that we were in this at first. Still held through. I was thinking I should have took some more off. Get stopped out right here, but what do? We hop right back in. It's a beautiful thing when these trades start to work. Partial, 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 and 2 more of those. So really good look here on Tesla. I mentioned that we could get to this pivot high, and you can see us starting to reject it now. So that was the trade here on Tesla. Sorry, firearm max rate is 8 times an alien here. Gunshots. Yeah, sorry to hear that, Hypercube. It is really an unfortunate thing, but you also have to take into consideration that the States is 10 times larger than we are as well, too, right? So, but yeah, again, that's not an environment you want to grow up in, and I apologize for that. But here we go. The environment that we do want to be in right now is the one that you're currently sitting in there, Hypercube. That is Trader TV Live. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe here, guys.
Like and subscribe.
Because
this
we have how many?
Unlimited upside.
How many?
6,600 of you guys watching us. Let's get those likes up.
Hey.
How many of you guys touch that like? I'm going to refresh that and see how many likes we are, but we're going to need to double, triple that, whatever it may be. I want at least as many people, half as many people that are watching us right now. 762. Get those likes up. Let's hit that 4K or that 1K at least. 4 digits. That's what we need. We're continuing to climb here in Tesla. Now slightly rejecting the volume weighted average price. We only have a little bit off, about 10, 15%.
Nice trade,
we're going to hold that off for the dream, but there you go. That's why you take those multiple entries because eventually they will pay off. Sure.
Casey France saying, look, bro, they're just squeezing the triple Qs back into VWAP so they can tank it down, whereas QQQ is racing a VWAP for liquidity so it can reverse. It didn't even wait for VWAP. My man, this is the NQ June contract. Where's my ticker there? Well, I'll have to throw it in again. This is the volume weighted average price at around 18,550, and it looks like we rejected 18.5, but most notably, Casey, I don't know how you feel about this. The higher low situation is still in play. So we're still putting in those higher lows, even though I don't know how you feel, but we're still being kept down by the selling pressure. And you can see that through the topping tail candles, whether it's on the futures or an Apple or any other Mag 7 name. A lot of weakness here to be expected going into the afternoon. Donald Trump is still live, guys. Okay, he's still live right now with his cabinet. He's doing it live. That stream is 2 minutes behind, but I've got a stream over here. Joseph, what do you got?
We got it. We hit the 1K, guys. Perfect. Thank you very much. 1,000 likes, 6,700 of us working, of you guys watching us here. Welcome to joining Trading Live, real shares. This is as real as it gets, trading these volatile markets with Donald Trump. Let's see what Adaira's got to the best on the news desk.
More tariff questions here coming at President Donald Trump during the Q&A portion, I guess, of this cabinet meeting. He said that he's going to be viewing tariffs most likely on a country-by-country basis, but he did say that he's going to be looking at the EU as one block for tariffs. So I guess one specific tariff for the EU is what he's considering, though he did say he would prefer that tailored tariffs for different countries. As mentioned earlier, Apple had a little bit of a drop when he said he's not considering any exemptions for any countries or companies at this time. Back to you.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. So thank you, Wall Street Wanderer. 3 rising valleys on SPY. Yeah, for sure. And just to note, guys, when you put something in the chat or you super chat or anything like that, thank you very much for those. But also just add the time frame that you would like us to look at, so we have a better idea and we can give you more details. So thank you again, Wall Street Wonder. Very much appreciative. And did we go over? Okay, Nimrod, our guy, gifted 5 Trader TV memberships, Trader TV Live memberships. This guy, I don't know, this guy's at the top of his class for gifting memberships. Thank you very much, Nimrod. 3 rising values. Unfortunately, I don't remember every single price action print. That's why I need to know the time frame. Are you familiar with that pattern there, Sharif? I'm
just listening to Donald, brother.
Okay, so 3 rising values, sorry.
That's okay.
Just going to be frank with you guys, I don't remember exactly how that pattern is, so I don't want to mislead you or anything along those lines. We're going off to Adaira. We're going to take some more off here.
Boom! We're long Apple.
Ex-U.S. Steel dropping here to the downside. Asked here about the Nippon Steel deal, Donald Trump said that he doesn't even know why they even need a deal due to tariffs, because they're going to do very well with tariffs. So Trump here answering this question about U.S. Steel in a bit of an interesting way, saying that they'll do well because of tariffs, and he's not even sure they need a deal at this time. Back to you.
Hit it, bro.
Man. I don't have it, man.
I'm freaking out today, Joe. Bro, you have no idea.
Woosah.
Woosah is right. Yes. Insanity Now, or sorry, what's it called? This, I know you love Seinfeld, so I know you're going to help me out with this. Yeah, of course. What is it? Serenity now, insanity later.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because he used to say serenity now to himself.
Who said that, Jerry?
What's that guy's name? He was like George's nemesis growing up, and his mom liked him better. Goodness gracious, what the hell is that guy's name? Chat, help me out, man. What's that guy's name? Go ahead.
No, sorry.
Serenity now. Okay,
Serenity
everyone's. It's a little delayed, right? What the hell is the dude's name? He's like George's like nemesis.
Somebody's got
and he
no
dated Elaine,
Is
and
it
then
George's dad?
No, it's not George's dad. They're the dude who you grew up with, George. Oh man.
Oh no.
There was a plane crash, Darwin. Are you serious?
Oh,
Lloyd Braun.
Lloyd Braun.
Thank you, VWAP Sandy. Thank you, VWAP Sandy. No, Newman is Jerry's nemesis.
Yeah.
I'm talking about George's nemesis growing up. Lloyd Braun. He went. I can't say this because it's not correct.
I know you know who Victor Newman is.
No.
You don't know Victor Newman?
No.
Are you sure?
I may.
What, Young and Restless?
No, bro, I never watched
You
that.
never watched
My
that?
grandma watched that. Like
Yeah,
I'd like,
man,
she was babysitting me. Like,
so you know,
but I didn't know the name.
That guy was my
Joseph.
favorite guy.
I didn't know the
Victor
name.
Newman, I
bro.
thought he was like kind of the modern day Harvey Specter or whatever.
Yeah, was he?
Yeah,
Okay,
I liked Victor Newman.
I like that.
He was a good guy. But Sharif, here we
go
go.
ahead, Joseph.
We got a couple questions in the chat. They said someone asked me, Joseph, have I ever laid awake at night because of the markets? Only one time that ever happened to me, and that was earlier in my trading career when I first started. I bag held a bunch of SPY shorts for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking. I was overly heavy, and I was just refusing to let go of the position, so that kept me up late. And then come 4 a.m., as soon as that market opened up and it gapped down, I just closed the position right at 4 a.m. So that kept me up. But yeah, that kept me up. Other than that, no, I sleep pretty well these days. I most definitely sleep like a baby because I can't let these markets get you doing that stuff. Otherwise, you will.
What's the point of having money if you don't have the mental there,
exactly,
bro?
Right? So again, don't let it keep you up at night. You'll build the tolerance for it, whether you're swinging or anything along those lines. But if you're just day trading, then you can get out of your positions. And the only time I suggest, like if you're going to swing something from a day trading standpoint, like you've entered a position earlier in the day and you just have an abundance of shares, and then you're just, okay, let me ride this throughout the day. And then the next day you're just, okay, let me hold on to X amount to see if that can continue. And that's the only time I would ever personally hold a day trade.
Absolutely. Just Donald Trump is talking about steel, tariffs, pharmaceuticals. He's talking about the gamut of different issues. We're going to be covering that all for you. I'm listening to him speak at the moment. We'll report to you guys on that. I'm back in Apple over here. We took $1 on Apple, and we're nicely 50 pennies in the money again here on the dead one as it clears VWAP, Katina, man. Apple's above 190. Let's go a little bit more, Apple. Don't come back down. So I'm going to stop out if it breaks 190. I'm looking for a bigger move up. Here we go again. Now we're at 190 and 2/3. If we can get 75s, that's what I'll be waiting. So I'll just go ahead and throw that on there so I don't have to make the decision. Here we go. Back up into the 60s. Show me 70s. 70s. There it is, baby. So we'll take that again on Apple. A couple of good winners right now on the dead one. Apple still negative on the day, but I'm going to continue to try to work out of it. Apple is breaking out. It is the only one right now, guys, that's above the volume weighted average price. All the other Mag 7 names are approaching VWAP, futures included. Apple is the only one above right now at that 191-ish area. Keep your eye out on that possible relative strength. That's funny to say it that way because it's down 4%. Let's call a spade a spade. 18,500 is in view now on the futures, the NQ June contract. We are putting in higher lows. This could be a double bottom. I'm not going to call it, obviously, because you have to wait for it to manifest. Let's see if that 18,500 level is the neckline. I'll submit to you guys it could be possibly the neckline, just given the fact that that was the price spike that we got at 1 o'clock on the bond auction. Drop back down, made a higher low, though. That was the most notable part to me. We didn't drop down and make a newer low. In fact, we defended 18,000, and here we are, about 500 points off the bottom. We're still down 822 points on the day. I hate to normalize something like this, but it's nothing compared to yesterday. Even though it's an 800-point loss on the day relative to yesterday, It's not that big. Here we go again, Joseph, approaching 18,500, and Apple is above 191 again. So the aggression is coming in these markets. We've got about 4 minutes left before we send you to the big kahunas, but the market has changed its tune. Donald is still speaking as we go. I'm watching it right here. He's talking about China. He's talking about everything else and in between. So make sure you you're with us. We got that covered. Adair is at the big desk. The big kahuna is getting locked and loaded. We're going to be covering everything for you.
Yes, sir, Sharif. Here we go, guys. Look at this climb up here in Tesla, holding on to the last bit. You're going to see us do it live, and boom, just like that, we're out of the position. So getting that move all the way back to north of what we were looking for. You just seen me take out my last out. You guys seen from the position board. So there we go, a really nice move here in Tesla.
Several banger trades today, bro. Good on you, man. Good on you.
But again, like let's just call, as you like to say, a spade, right? Like I took a loss here. I took a loss on IBIT, right? Okay, so boom, you take a small loss there. And then the same thing with Hood. Before we really got the ball rolling, you take a couple losses, but at the end of the day, it's just keep sticking to it, take those entries, and then eventually you can get these really, really nice moves here. And I know you were taking some Apple long as well. But
I did, yeah.
Yeah, good work on that front, brother. But yeah, see, Tesla being patient, and I think that's the name of the game. I usually take more stabs out of the open, but I'm like, okay, the narrative has changed. All right, so you got to be more patient come the open, and I think that's what you have to do. So, Joseph, what site were you using to 4 a.m. close? It's no site. Like it depends on your platform and your broker, but the market opens right up at 4 a.m. and then I just executed. I just got out as soon as I woke up. I seen that we had a little bit of a gap down. I'm like, see you later, and then I just went back to sleep. And I was lucky to be profitable on that. That's not always the case on that one. And I had a lot of SPY. It was trading. SPY was significantly cheaper back then as well too. So it's not a site. It's just brokerage and platform. 40% tariff if you don't love. Yeah, we love that. VWAP strategy, 45% tariff if you don't like us there. VWAP Sandy, much appreciated on that one. Still climbing higher here, Sharif, on Tesla, but we're all out of this one, guys. Only a couple minutes left here in our show, and then you're going to go right back to Sean. He was short a bunch of names, multiple handles in the money when he was shorting Apple, so nice work. He picked that up. He's like, okay, we run into the volume weighted average price, and then we sell right back down and almost broke the lows, but the market said, no, not today. We are not going to hold this 7% loss. We're going to start to bounce and recover a lot of what we lost from yesterday's monstrous record-breaking session.
All right, shout out to Mark Susi. I'm going to cover Occidental and United Health for you, but I want to tell you, Donald Trump is speaking right now about Elon Musk, basically saying he doesn't need him for anything other than the fact that he likes him. He praised his work at the Department of Government Efficiency. He was asked by a reporter why Elon, kind of was no longer around the administration. He didn't really answer the question, just basically said exactly what I told you right there. So Occidental guys, Mark, this is a bit of a tougher look. I mean, we had that, what's it called? We would jokingly call it on the floor here, the Buffett bottom, because it was that 55. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Mark, but that 55 was the bottom for years. Essentially, since we took that level out in February of 2022, we didn't lose that level, Mark, until September of 24. So it held it for a hot minute. That Buffett bottom, though, that's gone. That $55 level on Occidental. And now, I don't know how you feel about this, Mark, but this is a downward channel if I've ever seen one. Multiple rejections off that top trend line right there. And then you get a flat bottom break on that through the level of 45. So initially it was 55, and then it ended up being 45 here. 45 support, again 45 support, and then all hell broke loose. I've never seen Occidental this low, maybe since 21. When it was at like $20-something. I remember when energy was super cheap during the pandemic. So $35 it bounced off yesterday, currently trading at $36.96, essentially 37. But look at that candle, man. I mean, this looks like a bear flag. I don't know how you feel about this, Mark, but this is a downward move, a consolidation. So this looks like a bear flag to me on the daily. That's my view on UNH. I don't think Buffett's buying anything or on Occidental. UNH looks fantastic. Fan-frickin-tastic. Sorry, Adara? Get it, Adara's pumping up UNH because she likes these names because they're spready takers, and that's what she does. She likes these ones. So here's the look. We're at $600 again, Mark. This looks fantastic to me, especially if we can take out those local highs. It doesn't feel like the Mangione put's working anymore. That 630, Joseph, we dropped down to 438. Quick as you frickin' like. We're right back up. We're up 36% since that bottom. So good look here on UNH. And if we take out that top mark at 620, 630, yeah, we'll have to wait and see, obviously. But we are now over time. It is 2:01. The big kahunas have been nice enough to be patient and wait. Donald Trump is still talking. So, guys, the volatility is still there. The cabinet meeting is still happening. Oh, we just finished. We just finished. I think he's kicking everybody out because CNN just went away from the coverage right now. So we'll have to wait and see. Adair confirming that as well. It is over. Keep your eye on the market now. We are going to send you guys to the big kahunas. Joseph will be on tomorrow, and then we'll have a bit of a weekend. So we'll have to see exactly how we close out on Friday.
We got Good Friday though.
Leave them with thought.
Just keep the risk measures in place, guys. Volatile market, everything along those lines. So you got to widen those stops most definitely, and try not to get too frustrated because there'll always be another day.
All right, guys. Same bat time, same bat channel. Take it over, boys.
Nothing happens in these markets anymore. It's like this. There's just never anything that you've missed if you sit out